just give them an opportunity to settle down.
Yeah, South Jersey Jacket's good, thank you. I had ACL surgery about 1.5 years ago, and it's a slow process, broski. Yes, it is. It's my second time around, second spin on the old ACL, so we're familiar with the process, and we're willing to endure it. Obviously, we wouldn't have done it. We would have just kept rocking and rolling how we were, but that's not the case. So.
Yeah.
Thank you, by the way, South Jersey.
For sure, for sure. All right, guys. Shout out to Benton. He's saying DKNG. See that late goal there, Benton, yesterday they put in on us? I didn't want that 3-2. The penalty I can let go. All right, it's a penalty. It's not a big deal. But it's not bad that they had Mascara and what's his name, Hincapie in the back. And I don't mind seeing those two play together because, quite frankly, you know, Saliba and Gabriel may not always be available, as we saw earlier this year. So shout out to my man Benton C. But the Katina man, he's locked. He's loaded, and Neil's short intel. Oh boy. All right, guys. I'll see everybody shortly at the big desk.
Ciao. I'm sure Netflix, but it's not showing up, but we'll get that in a couple seconds.
Yeah.
You're sure, what did Sharif say? Intel, didn't he?
Intel.
Intel. Huh?
It's the Intel.
Oh, you'd rather him say it faster.
Well, isn't that how you say it? I don't know, man.
I don't know.
It doesn't. Anyways,
to each their own.
Yeah, to each their own. I'm still actually curious as to why when you guys were talking about space, Joe's like thinking about Ad Astra and Brad Pitt. I can think of off the top of my head, there's like 50 space movies, probably more like 10, that are better than Ad Astra. Ad Astra was incredibly disappointing.
Ouch.
I'm one of the biggest science fiction fans you will ever see, and that is in the last 15 years, it's one of the worst. Anyways,
for me, the best space movie ever is Space Jam. You know.
I thought you were going to say
dunk.
Spaceballs, at least. Spaceballs is where it's at.
Yeah.
You go ludicrous speed.
I don't know anything. You're the science fiction nut.
Well, speaking of ludicrous speed, how about Meta?
Trust your opinion on that one.
How about Meta? Also, we got a headline here, DraftKings.
Meta just back to highs again. Yeah.
CFTC to withdraw 2024 proposal on political and sports contracts.
To withdraw 2024 proposal, or are they allowed to? I don't know. First of all, contracts it's missing an A, but I don't really know.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. Let me turn to DraftKings here for a second. We'll have to find out. Derek, can you find out what that 2024?
I gotta look at
there it is. It's to craft new rules for prediction markets. Okay, that's probably good for DraftKings. I think the big problem with DraftKings has been Kalshi and the fact that they can do these sports contracts, and it's like classified different than gambling. You know, so maybe something there. We'll find out a lot more about that. But I'm sure Netflix now.
It is moving.
Yeah, I have it up. It's swiped down there on volume. So I think until we figure out, I mean, I'll just trust. Yeah. No, Darius, take your time, please. By all stretches, I'm not going to be rushing into, trade this right now. But looking like, anyways, if this is a negative story, watch out here for 29.75 right there. And I think the big problem with DraftKings has been the fact that they can't get the regulation. Like DraftKings is not even available in Florida, in Texas, and in California. Those are like 3 of the biggest markets for sports in the United States, right? Obviously outside of the East Coast as well. So yeah, Florida, Texas, and California, I believe, is what DraftKings is waiting for. So anyways, all right, decent story, down 1% right now.
But what's crazy is if my chart's correct, I think it popped the full dollar first and then came down.
But those are those algos. Like, I have that there too.
Oops, algos. No, but in more important news.
Yeah, it did go up there. eSignal has it up there.
Meta. So I was just reading the next headline there.
Okay. Meta
almost back to the top. Like, as bad as that dump was today for the Nasdaq, getting down 2%, now only down 1.25%. I mean, unbelievable rally back for Meta to almost get back to $740, up 10%. You would think on a day where everything has been risk off and getting smoked, unless you're an airline or a cruise name, we're staring at you, Meta actually holds up incredibly well. They don't care about that greater Capex spend. Nobody cares. Spend however you want. Throw money anywhere.
Yeah.
Mark Zuckerberg. I wish,
a little bit taller.
You know what? I wish Bill's management had the view of spending on wide receivers that Mark Zuckerberg has on spending on CapEx. Because he just go out and he's going to spend whatever it takes to get the job done. And Sometimes that could be refreshing.
Yeah, Mark Zuckerberg, not worried too much about what people think about
They got so much
the
cash.
spending. I mean, they lost billions, like
Great cash,
I don't know how many billions they lost. It was $6 billion, I think, on the metaverse again this last quarter. But as they start to wind that down, there's
Reality Labs.
Reality Labs, that's what it's called. Yeah.
Yeah, same thing. Metaverse, what's the difference?
No, I think it's called Reality Labs.
I know, but it's still, yeah.
The metaverse is not
Interchangeable. There is no metaverse.
Did you get that story, Adara, or what do you think? Oh, you're over there. Oh my God. Okay, yeah. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Oh.
Sometimes I hear in my ear like, go to Adara, and then I have no idea even where I am.
Even though I can see that she's not there.
I hear over there. Oh. Yes, thank you, Fabian. Must be that special tea that you gave me. Fabian said I'm hallucinating.
Oh, by the way, Eddie, thank you for that donut.
Oh, by the way, yeah, I lost a lot of money. I mean, a lot of money. What's a lot of money? Yeah, right there. So YSS. We were sort of thinking that there was, first of all, we had a little bit of a problem with our order types. I should have got it all out there, didn't, and it's for some reason the order hung, and I had to punch out even lower there, which, I mean, if it would have, anyways, needless to say. Opens up at 38, its birthday was its best day, and it didn't even get to this 38.40, I don't know what that was. I think that was just a spread opening up, and someone got filled up there. But
it was there briefly.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, I think if you somehow reacted to that, but I wasn't taking 40 cents anyways. We just got Nvidia short. But that's going to, I'm short Netflix and Nvidia. But that was right there, the bid, and whatever. We don't talk about share size, but it was enough to be a problem. There's 50 cents out for half. Half of it was out for 50 cents. But I tried to get out of it all. There just not enough liquidity. And then by the time my order canceled and yada, 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 we wound up getting out at 36.50, the next bid. So out 50 cents for half, and then $1.50, unfortunately, for the next half. Was a little bit less than half there, but actually still, like, considering, still pretty good out there as we start to float around there on YSS. And maybe we'll talk about it as the day goes on. We got a
super chat, and we'll talk about that as the day, because I was going to say something about when these weird things with orders and something you should do, even if it doesn't always work out your way. Because it didn't work out for me when my order hung, but I was smart in not throwing another order out, which probably would have saved me, but I waited to confirm whether I was going to get the fill or not. On the rail, thoughts on BBAI at this level? Okay, so I have a funny feeling or a suspicion that there might be a lot of questions about dip buying today. Do you like this stock at this level? Are you picking up anything at these levels? The thing with BBAI, at least the way I see it, there's not many stocks of its size and ilk that have respected the 200 period simple moving average the way it has. It hasn't been underneath it on a closing basis since April of last year. It spent about a week and change underneath the 200 period moving average. It's breaking it today. So for me, when I see that, it's been respecting it, it's now downward sloping going into it. It's still an upsloping 200 period moving average, which is good. But if it's gonna do something like this, then I'll let it make a base shallow underneath, come back up and reclaim. That's the way I always look at this. If the 200 period is going to be good, let it do this. There's usually an opportunity to get back in if it's going to be good. No need to go panicking.
We are,
but I think it's just different. Like Microsoft's a different story. Like stocks like Microsoft, I'll DCA into like a good company. Like Meta, when it was going down, I'm like, I'll just buy some here because I don't know where else to buy it. I wouldn't ever feel that way about a stock like BBAI. So I'd want it to actually hold out that 200 period again, which it's not today. I'd rather be patient and wait a week or two until it can do this kind of a setup.
These are stocks that have high beta correlations to negative tailwinds, or headwinds, I guess, in this situation. Like if BBAI is going to get hit, a lot of these stocks that rally up on sort of flat to good days, when there's a bad day, what winds up happening is there's a lot of traders that have money into Big Bear AI. They sell those garbage ones to look at, potentially other names just on days when the market goes like this. So down 8% is sort of what it is there. Okay, we got a good trade on right now, though. This was a great one. We got filled there on Nvidia. Why did we take it? One may say. And it was just, and we have Sharif, maybe Nvidia is going to be on there, but it's just this high right into there, 191. If it breaks 191, we can get out. But that's what I was trying to risk a little bit here. So it's 25 cents worth of risk. We're now in the money, 25 cents. So that's a good trade. Into the 21 period, I am bidding right here 46s. Hopefully we can get that. It's now officially 1-to-1. And I told myself when things go 1-to-1, I want to be out of roughly half of the trade, right? Just to make that work. And then if you do get a downside play, then obviously the trade just becomes, you know, so much better. So here we go, man. We are now into a big winner. Not a big winner, but a decent one here with Nvidia. It's 35 cents in the money and trying to get lower. So good trade there for NVDA. We will cover some at the 21 period and look to get a little bit lower on this name. And I got to get out. I got to get out a little bit more. So I'm out of half, and then we'll regroup. So yeah, so far so good here. There we go. Get some 42s. Let's go back over. Here we go. This is the rundown. So it's going to be every stock you guys want us to cover. Not all of them, but the top 5. We'll look at those. We'll talk about some trade ideas, how it's looked so far, and potentially what we think about moving forward. It's Sharif. You might have just seen him on the midday. Now he's at the big desk.
Back.
This man, multiple talents, you know, here with Sharif. So Sharif.
Yes, sir. At least 2 or 3.
Back to you.
Welcome, guys, to the Afternoon Rundown, the show where you decide what we talk about every afternoon. The big boys, they are locked and they are loaded and they're ready to look at the tickers as decided by you. But the only way to get your tickers on the Afternoon Rundown, you got to join us in the chat and then vote for your favorite ticker every day. But before you vote, you got to throw in that $sign, then followed by whatever ticker your heart so desires. Let's start off the Afternoon Rundown by looking at the 4 major averages, and they are all decidedly negative over here, with the NQ leading the way down. The triple Q is here down 1.07%. The SPY faring a bit better, down 0.5%. The Dow basically flat. Down 0.14, and then the IWM, the Russell 2000 ETF continues to sell off, but faring better than the other 2 major averages, down 0.29 currently. Let's start off with the first name as decided by you guys. I have no idea where they went. Anyway, it is Feed, F-E-E-D. Fantastic look today. We had the CEO on with Adara earlier. Great information there. This didn't have a headline today, but it had one yesterday. NView Medical is the name of Feed, and the shares are trading higher after the company announced it signed a distribution agreement with UDeliver to distribute its NFit syringes nationwide through a non-acute care channels. Breakout yesterday, continuation today, boys, up 81 3/4.
NView Medical.
Yeah, what's wild is it's going to post back-to-back $100 million share days in a row. And the second day is actually more impressive than the first. Like, if you looked at it yesterday, at the open, it was like a dip and a rip, and then a stair step up, and then spent most of the afternoon just sort of falling off on low volume. Today, it was just an absolute rocket ship through the high. Even the pullback couldn't get anywhere near the prior high. It spent most of this time holding above 4. It's a little choppy in here off the $4 level. So like for the afternoon, it probably needs to at least start breaking back out. It's in threat of losing this $4. And I wouldn't even care much about VWAP here. It's just every time it loses 4, there's at least some heavy action underneath. But for now, still looking good. It's a full-on squeeze if this thing gets over $5. Just looking at the daily here. If it does get and close above $5, you're talking a pure squeeze play at that point. But for now, look at that fork. Maybe key off that if you're small cap trading. Volume wasn't good in the afternoon either yesterday, but it still managed to bounce from its like $2 support to get almost to 260. So it might not be done, but you want to see it start to pick up off this 4 level. Hasn't done it yet.
All right, I was just going to say we got a, whoops, what am I even doing there? I just canceled all my bids and offers. Okay. Shift R? What? Okay, I have to get back over this. I just canceled all of my orders for some reason. I don't even know what keystroke that possibly was there. Cancel all. Okay. Anyways, Richtech Robotics gets an order there today, or gets a story there from Microsoft and saying that, potentially there was no agreement or some sort of proposed deal between Microsoft and Richtech Robotics. It goes all the way here on that move up to $6,556, and now falling back in. I think this might be worth some sort of a bid down here in and around $4 to see if we hold this area that was holding pre-Microsoft deals. So just another runner there, Richtech. Let's go find out what the next story is, and I got to figure out these orders that just all canceled.
SpaceX and XAI reportedly in talks to merge.
What? Oh, okay, yeah.
You like the IPO better or worse there?
Which IPO? Oh, SpaceX? Oh, on XAI? That's fine. I mean, they're the same company. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not.
But I like the separation.
Why did that
thing.
script?
I like that you eventually will you'll own the different companies independently. There's something to that. Like I liked it when GE broke up, and then I got to decide which ones I liked. Because I liked aerospace and I liked GE Vernova, and I didn't want GE Healthcare. So I dumped one and kept the other two. Like there's something to be.
But didn't he do that with Tesla? Did he do that with something with XAI and Tesla or something? There was some sort of a change there or something, or I'm not. For me, whatever. They're both his baby. For me, I'm pretty fine either way there.
First world problem.
First world.
Hey, maybe number 2 is going to be Tesla after that headline.
Oh, maybe.
Silver, you're close, Neil. It's on there, I promise. Silver pulling back after hitting, yes, another all-time high yesterday at $120 an ounce. It's down 3% today, but when you look, wider time frame, those higher lows still there. Also gold dropping as well, but silver down 3%, boys.
So my whole thing of the last 3 sessions, effectively making one trade in silver off of mean revert, the first one on the 15-minute. So to say things were in a downtrend this morning is a bit of an understatement, so it was pretty heavy to the downside. There's the curl, there's the break. It's kind of a wide band, man. Like the first candle confirming the trend break on silver was like $1.40, and then it opens up like instantaneously holding the second one. So it's like, okay, well, it just immediately long when it does that. And at that point, like I'm giving it a relatively tight stop under the 99. I kind of played it by ear to the first place it resisted, which is the 102.5. Like I did like that level, only because I'm pretty sure I think I had 102.5 written down on the note this morning, to be honest with you. Well, I know it was yesterday I had the 102.5. So got to that pivot spot. It was just one mean reversion trade. And I feel like when it goes down, that's what I'm hunting for in silver. It's whatever the deep dive is, either in the morning, usually in the morning, and then just make the reversion on the 15-minute, just be one and done with this stock. Because while it's in this upward trend, it's not always the nicest vehicle. Like it's very whippy, it loves to shake you out. It's absurdly parabolic at this point. Like those that are buying and holding and getting some of the overnight moves, fantastic. But for the day trade, I just feel like let it do these crazy moves to the downside and just try to wait for it to show signs of a turn, which it's been doing at some point in every single day. But today it'll end up, barring something crazy, we're going to be down 3% today on easily the most volatile day, mostly market related as well. Like it's not, like silver wasn't alone here. It was the entire market getting smacked.
Yeah, I know he's got some super chats. We will discuss those when we're done. I think we can just look at the super chats. So just give us a couple minutes and we'll run through these and then we'll go. So for me, look, we were trading this live today. We saw silver at 105. We tried it there on the closing prices area anyways. It's actually, we could have even gone long like at 106. We didn't. We waited for that 105. That came in. It lost. We got a little bit out for a win and then it just fell through. Then we tried again on this 21 period break. Didn't work. We tried again there. And then we got it again there, and this was good, man, all the way back up. And then we had a nice short there, and then eventually we went short again against that same 105 area, and then it broke higher. And then, of course, now, obviously, it's down another $2 from where we got stopped out. So, yeah, silver, just a fun one to trade again today, down 2.7%. Gold also to the downside. Look, I mean, it's been going like this for a minute, and yesterday we saw it act pretty good off of Fed. Right here at 2 p.m. yesterday. So this is kind of the move in silver all the way up. We did fade out in the after hours. And then today with Bitcoin losing the bid and gold losing the bid, doesn't really surprise me that silver also lost the bid. And then while this was all happening in the morning time, maybe I can zoom back out a little bit. This is what was going on with the US dollar. So that was ripping to the north side, and silver was doing this. So we've already seen that sort of correlation between the dollar and silver. So it doesn't really surprise me as the dollar goes down here. Maybe silver could catch a little bit of a bid, which is happening right here. So, that still does remain okay. I'm going to get another piece out of Nvidia here because it just went up and down through almost back up to my price again, and then a nice little downside play. So we'll take that 1-to-1 again. We're still waiting on Netflix to get to the downside, but silver, man, it's been real fun for now, but we haven't made any money on it. So we're going to get back to our silver trading very, very soon. Over to Sharif again for stock number 3.
Tesla, guys, down about 2.5%, a little bit less. They reported earnings after the bell yesterday, with earnings coming in at 50 pennies per share. That beat estimates, but it is down year over year. Sequentially, revenue 2.49 billion, missing estimates of 25.14, and declining as well, 3% year over year. We've covered the Tesla earnings separately. We just got this headline that Elon Musk, SpaceX, and XAI are in merger talks ahead of the IPO later this year. This is being reported by Reuters. Under the proposed merger, shares of XAI would be exchanged for shares in SpaceX, according to Reuters, reported on Thursday, which cited a person briefed on the matter and 2 recent company filings viewed by Reuters themselves. 2 entities have been set up in Nevada to facilitate the transaction. A merger would combine, the rockets, Starlink satellites, social media platform, and Grok AI chatbot under one roof. Some XAI executives could be given the option to receive cash instead as part of the deal. According to Reuters, a final agreement hasn't been signed, and the timing and the structure of the transaction remains fluid. Neither party, Musk, SpaceX, or XAI, declined to comment Reuters report. And then we also reported this to you as well. Financial Times reported earlier in the week that SpaceX is looking at a mid-June IPO, aiming to raise as much as $50 billion at a $1.5 trillion valuation. Separately, this was earlier as well. EchoStar shares dropped nearly 10% after the report on the possible SpaceX AI merger, guys. Tesla down 2.5%.
Well, I promise you, the SpaceX IPO will be better than YSS in terms of volume, in terms of.
SpaceX IPO might not even be open by now. That day, how long that's going to take?
I could see that being true. I could actually see, because it'll be the biggest IPO of all time, I could easily see SpaceX opening in the afternoon show, because why not? Why not wait the entirety of the day to trade it for 90 minutes? They've already done bad ones where you're trading it essentially for 2 hours. It's hilarious how that ends up happening still. Look, apparently it does matter that they had declining revenues this time. We were saying this in the afternoon. It's like, okay, well, if the pivot away from the S, the S and the Model S and the Model X, if you're going to pivot away from that to Optimus to get production out there, that whole forward view, that's supposed to be good. Why wasn't it breaking away? It was just sort of hugging that 50 period in the afternoon in the aftermarket show. It just couldn't really go anywhere. And then I'm going to show you guys Blue Ocean as well, so you can have a quick look at last night, or we'll give it a few seconds and eventually it'll show you last night. The average day on Blue Ocean, sometimes no movement. Actually got movement there, but it was pretty bullish, but not too crazy. Only $4 for 1% in the aftermarket. It just didn't want to go crazy. It couldn't break the 445, let alone 450. So it was sort of telling you that we weren't having that Elon moment, unfortunately. So barring the 3-day rule changing anything, I think this kind of goes into for me, the semi penalty box. 420 is holding for now. That's a good sign. If it holds into next week, I'll feel much better about this. Otherwise, you got to sit this one out, because I think earlier when we pulled back, I thought we were heading lower, somewhere into this support at 380, at least to test. And now that's the 200-period moving average. So I have all the reason to believe if we can't hang on to this 420 level to end the week, we're probably headed down to at least retest that 380, which perfectly fine. At the end of the day, 20% pullbacks happen. Probably due for one. A few stocks have already done it. I guess technically it's pretty much there.
I think Tesla's a long-term story, right? I mean, I don't, trading these intraday price movements is great for day traders and great for options trading and everything like that. But I mean, you're at the 420 level, so there's that. But yeah, no, we've held. So 414 to 415, that to me should hold again. And if it doesn't, then yeah, you're just gonna have to hold your shares. He talked about mid-2026. We'll see if that can happen. for the robo-taxis, for Optimus, and we already heard that they're shutting down the production of the Model S and Model X to go with Optimus, and we already said that the hard thing about China and these companies is going to be onboarding, but right now, like, they're already producing, they already have these plants in the United States, they're able to make cars effectively. I assume that he's going to, and efficiently, I assume he's going to do the same thing with these robots. So I don't know what the margins are going to look like on these things, but I think it's just another case where Elon's going to be the first one to sort of make the move here, like mainstream, and it'll probably work out. So no reason to believe these robots won't be a thing and that robotaxis won't be a thing, in my opinion, anyways. We saw that story from Waymo, but Brendan had the story yesterday on our after show that there's been 650,000 miles driven on full self-drive. So there's a lot of data there that they can use to improve. Full self-drive, I think, Sharif, is on its 10th version, probably more than that. And they keep on updating it. It keeps on getting better. They're going with the SaaS model, which I like as well. It makes it more affordable for people to get involved. They could probably offer some discounts and whatnot to get people excited. By the way, send me a discount. But yeah, $4.15 or so. I think that's going to be your sort of zone where you're saying, hey, I'm going to wait $5 more. But you know what? $5 more. Like, you can just buy some now. So I like Tesla down here. I think if tomorrow's a bad day, we get to $4 and then we can deal with it then. So I'm still excited for Tesla. I think it's a buy. And I like, the quarter wasn't that bad, man. They have 50 cents versus 45 cents. They're making money on their current business. And I think they're going to make a lot more with their future business. So Tesla for me is what it is. I don't have experience. We don't have any of those cars around here. Toronto just got approved for Waymo, I think, last month or something.
We're Waymo.
So we'll see when those come through. And, to say like one is better than the other, I think they can both work. It's like saying Lyft is better than Uber or something like that. Obviously, the technology should be solid on both of them. And if you prefer one over the other, then that's fine. But I think at the end of the day, it's going to be a story of margins for the companies and then cost for the consumer, right? I mean, if Waymo is 20% more than the robo-taxi service, you'll probably use robo-taxis and vice versa. So until they get that all figured out, I'm pretty happy with it all. And yeah, Tesla sucks to be down 2.5% today. It's not Microsoft, but anyway,
Microsoft,
compare apples to oranges there. Netflix finally starting to move down here. Let's go back to Sharif, and we will get to these super chats. We have one more name, I believe.
Guys, Palantir down 4 2/3. They had an interesting headline today with a company called InnoData. And this InnoData tie-up with Palantir was for Palantir to provide AI data services for rodeo analytics. So InnoData will annotate thousands of hours of rodeo footage to train their AI systems that identify different animals, the riders, and the movements, guys, for automated performance analysis. Rodeos.
I'm not making this up when I say this. I actually have a friend of mine who I played baseball with in my men's league for years. He has like a tech headhunting company. Dude, the guy's an absolute genius. But he literally is developing an app, and it's not even out yet, so I won't say the name of the company. He's developing an app where you send video of it could be your coach sends video of like the kid or the app.
Yeah.
And it will give you like AI analysis of. Yeah, so I was testing it. I was like sending in some swings from like Aaron, and it gives pretty good breakdowns. Now it's not the super high level because obviously it's going to be AI.
Yeah.
But that kind of stuff is.
You can attach a thing to the bottom of your bat.
Yeah,
when
there's
you
so
swing
much
it.
you can.
Yeah.
So like I know it sounds like a funny headline, but it's like this is the world that we're living in, where there's so many things that are expensive now, where if you fall somewhere in between, like I don't want to sit there and pay a bunch of money for a ridiculous coach, but I do want to get some actual tips from for my actual, for your swing. Or you don't want your kid to have a swing coach or whatever it might be, but you want them to have some kind of an experience to get proper coaching. You don't have that there. It's amazing. As far as Palantir goes, I don't know what good to say about it. The 200 period ended up not mattering, obviously, today. The $150 level is doing yeoman's work of trying to hold on. Like we talked about that support this morning, and it didn't really ever set up a good trade for me. I think when it did the mean reversion here right at 11 o'clock, we were in the IPO mode, so I probably wasn't even paying attention to it at that point. And now you're barcoding and threatening losing the 150 area. I almost feel like this afternoon, it kind of looks like a breakdown short. Like, look at these lower highs. Maybe the next lower high off of VWAP actually looks like a short to me. So I'm going to put that up on a separate level too, because I think temporarily you're bearish. At least we get some numbers. They're going to report on Monday, and then we'll have some numbers to go with it. But this is already in bear territory. For now, the 150 with support looking like it's turning into potential resistance.
We put this trade on with you guys. This trade came in as I was sitting here discussing Richtech Robotic or something. Right there, came in at 190.80. We just got to fill at 30s. Pretty good trade there. So we're just going to wait to see how much more we can get on Nvidia. We are now officially out of half, which is pretty good. Our stop was 25 cents. So we just got that filled down there for 45. So not too bad. Yeah, look, I mean, I think Neil's right. When we talk about, what the capabilities of some of these companies are, we don't necessarily have to look, directly at the most recent stories. You just have to know that, their foundry is capable of doing many different analytics, and whether or not it's drones, whether or not it's that war machine, whatever it is, like Palantir has those capabilities. And I feel the same way about Big Bear AI and some of those other names. But yeah, I don't. It has a bad PE, man. I don't even know what the PE is now. Let's have a check, because the last time we looked at it was probably ridiculously high. Palantir is still in the 300s. Let's have a quick little check here. We'll go up into, oh, that's the news source, sorry. This is what we want. There's Palantir here, Palantir. And its PE is, I was saying it was 300. So yeah, it's 365 with its 4P of 169. So they're going to put up some numbers, that's for sure. But yeah, revenue of just 1.18 billion. It's probably a little too expensive. Its market cap, in the billions as well. I don't even know where I can find it right now, but we're days away from this name becoming a we talk about it every day anyways, but it's in 4 days. 5 p.m. conference call. Monday night is we're going to get this, and it's going to be something to watch out for. So I'm excited to trade some Palantir on that day. I'm nervous for it, and I think that if you're in the stock, you're probably nervous as well. So Palantir right now, just let it settle down. Not really worth trading ahead of earnings. Futures getting lower here. Finally, Netflix trying to work out a little bit, trying to bounce rate. My orders all got canceled, so I got to put new ones in. Down into here, Netflix 76. Yeah, okay, perfect. That's where my bid is. So if we can continue to fall down here on NFLX, we're not even in the money, just letting it drop down. I thought we were done with Sharif, but maybe we have one more? Okay, one more, and then we'll go to some super chats.
All right, Microsoft, last on the list here, down 12%. It was a tough day for Microsoft. Short sale restricted. They beat on the top and bottom line, but the street was really focused on two things: a slowing Azure growth, not growing at 40% like it did last year on the quarter. Also, the guide with respect to Azure growth, also lower than the current reported quarter. Secondly, they were worried about Capex and the compression of margins. But many different analyst rating agencies today chiming in, taking the opportunity to chime in about Microsoft. JP Morgan analyst Mike Murphy, he maintained an overweight rating on Microsoft, but he did drop the price target to 550 from 575. Denny Ives of Wedbush maintained outperform rating, also lowered the price target to 575 from 625. KeyBank analyst Jackson Adder maintained overweight rating, also lowered the price target to 600 from 630. Goldman Sachs, Gabriela Borges maintained a buy rating, boys, but did also lower the price target to 600 from 665. Microsoft down 12%.
Yeah, those are words that you don't actually hear very often. Microsoft down 12%. There's been a lot of questions about the dip buying of stocks, and I think Microsoft is one people ask about the most. And the reason I have Amazon up is when Amazon had an earnings that I thought was, I thought the reaction was ridiculous. I didn't think it made sense to me. It still was worth it. Day one, day two, day three, it made the low and held it for a green day. Day four at the open, you could have still had the same price you got at the close on day three. So if you just waited for a couple of days for it to settle down, it made a functional bottom, and you could have bought it bouncing off of that low on Amazon. That's where my head's at with Microsoft. I think there's a big reaction to all the AI names. That whole 45% of the Azure backlog is OpenAI, and so you've got all of these concerns about the bubble. Can OpenAI fulfill their obligations? Microsoft is definitely entangled in that. But I mean, come on, it just feels like for a name with a big enough moat that is so successfully made so much money, and this is the only company that has been a top 10, top 5 market cap through multiple cycles. From the time that I started trading, like over 2 decades ago, this was one of the biggest and most successful companies in the world. And then after the financial crisis, it was still in that elk. And then another more than a decade after that, it's still up there. The number of companies that have been able to do that, it's a one company list. It's only Microsoft. There's none. And that actually tells you, like, look at the 4 horsemen. No one even knows what I'm talking about when I say that, because none of those companies from the .com area are still a big deal. Right? Like, they're still around, like nothing wrong with Cisco, but in Oracle, but at the end of the day, they're not Microsoft. So I do think it's worth a buy, but after the lesson of Amazon, I think you can wait a couple of days here and not just pull the trigger because it's down 12%.
Okay, not much going on there. I mean, yeah, Microsoft is going to be a good trade there. Yeah, the NVIDIA, what's up, Chuck of all trades? Thanks for joining one more time here today. And yeah, the NVIDIA trade is an, oh my gosh, a nice little one there for NVIDIA, as it's just, oh my God. I mean, here we go, man. Thank you so much, Andre or Fabian. We are now in the money, 50 cents, looking to break through 190. We have another bid down here. We just took a 190.18 fill there. We'll try to get a 190.10 fill, and then we'll go from there. I know the Qs may be rolling over. I do know that right now, but we're already short a whole bunch of stuff here. I mean, we've got Netflix. Well, we've got Netflix and NVIDIA. That's it. But yeah, no, Microsoft, I think it's probably, like I said, I'm pretty connected here with Microsoft already. Like, we've already got this in the portfolio. Obviously not Blue Ocean. Blue Ocean should be a good one here today for all of these names. But, you know, really barcoding. We did get squashed early on this name down into that 420 marker again. So you might confuse the pricing between Tesla and Microsoft today. But yeah, I would think it's a buy. That's all. I mean, Azure misses, and they get 39% growth. They had 40% last quarter, and then guiding between 37 to 39 next quarter. So, you know, I don't think it's worth like, oh my God, the sky is falling on this name. But yeah, down 12%. And it's just kind of where it was. I know it's extended through here, but like, I would be surprised if this gets back to 440 tomorrow, something like that, especially if Apple can deliver well and there's better feels for the market. Right now, there's no good feels. Right now, you have Nvidia down 3%. We saw Palantir down. Well, Meta's obviously upside. Tesla's downside. Nasdaq is down a bit. So yeah, not good feels today for Microsoft. And yeah, it's going to get punished, and that is what's happening. So Microsoft to the downside, no surprise there today. We saw it get hit right away on earnings, and join us tonight. Like, this is what happened immediately on Microsoft yesterday, right? Here's the battle back as we run through all the numbers, and we come in tonight after the call, and it's downside. So, you know, if you're with us last night, you might have been able to catch some of that. And on that note, make sure you don't miss us tonight. And where it's going to be Apple, is SanDisk, right? SanDisk, Western Digital. Plus many other names. So yeah, join us tonight, and we shall have some fun. All right, we do have some super chats. Thank you, Sharif. And now we've got a Dara back there.
This is, oh, there it is. Oh, thank you.
There you go, perfect.
Boba plays. Your thoughts on MSTR and Coinbase? Well, I'll get the MSTR one out of the way first, because I think that's way easier for myself. Because I don't necessarily, I'll show an MSTR chart at some point. This is the chart of Bitcoin. Notice something about this? Well, this was a long trend that got broken, and what is happening to that trend line? The long trend from 2023, which I don't know why it extended further, got broken back here in November, and ever since then, it's been resistance. And every time we've popped, we've managed to get back down to 84. So we just did that round trip again. We're making these higher lows into a prior support line that's resistance, and if we lose this support, that trend breaks, one-way ticket to 73. So if I think that could be the case with Bitcoin, and I've remained bearish on it until we either get back above that line or make the test here, then it's impossible to like MSTR. Like, I can't. I don't like it in general. I'm a Bitcoin over MicroStrategy person in the first place. So if I think that's happening to Bitcoin, what do we even think about MSTR? Is it breaks the lows? That's hands off 1,000,000% for me. So that's a no-go zone. Coinbase, you could make some arguments for why I would treat Coinbase a little bit differently, but there's nothing about its chart. Here, I'm going to pull up a weekly because I don't think that does it well enough. By the way, shout out to eSignal for these 1 second, 2 second charts. Yeah. Going over trading on whether good, bad, or in between, it's pretty valuable if you're trading in like a few split seconds on an IPO at the open to have an idea what it's doing in the microseconds and how you can execute better. I know that it's helped me tremendously. But when it comes to Coinbase, you put this up on the weekly chart, and much like if I think we're headed lower, much like Bitcoin, there's an obvious area that this can get to that makes more sense. If we're in the downtrend, what about this says we're about to make a bottom? So why not let it get into support? I know 150 bucks is a long ways away. I get that. But it's still what I'd be waiting for. And I own some Coinbase. I haven't really considered buying more, but I'd probably buy more Bitcoin before I bought more Coinbase. And right now, I'm not really considering buying either.
I do have a new trade alert right now. It's going to be Marvell. This is one of my plays for the year, and I'm going short right now on Marvell. I mean, breaking, what? Crazy. So this should have triggered here when it broke. I didn't actually realize it broke. So I was sitting there and I must have got to fill on the way back up, which is still fine. I wanted an $80 break short. So that actually printed right there. So we must have, remember I said all my orders, like something's going on with my platform today, but all my orders canceled. So we didn't get that break there, but that was initially what we wanted at 230. And then now it comes back in there and we'll take the fill again at 80. All right, so I'm still going to stop out here, basically VWAP breaking of 25. Let's see if the short goes. And we talked about maybe the futures trying to roll over here. So Marvell are always breaking down through that $80 level. It was basically a good hold. And just to let you guys know, this is what we were looking at right here, was this little break. So it does break, and on that same candle goes all the way to the downside. And for some reason, I guess the order was missed, but picks me up back on the way through. So that's still fine, but we would have definitely taken some profit if we had gotten short. So I do have another bid at 85, and then our stop is 25 cents away. So our first target for serious shares will be here. Well, we have some shares at 85, and then we're going to take out a bigger piece at 75, and then hopefully be out of about half. I just heard something in my ear, Adara, about DeepSeek and Nvidia or something. Yeah, so that made me punch out of a little bit there, and we have less than half of this position left as Nvidia's trying to mature back up there to the upside. So we've got to be careful with some of these positions now because futures are not breaking lower, which is fine. You know, we have lots of time left. It's only 241, but looks like this could. Look, I'm trying to get out up at 190. Yes.
Yeah, this isn't really anything new, though. It's just the House China panel once again saying that they think NVIDIA products were used by DeepSeek. This headline has been really proliferating, so this is absolutely nothing new. And I had to search on X to find it. It hasn't even popped up on my blotter yet.
I mean, DeepSeek last year was like all the rage. Like everyone's like, oh my God, this is going to crush everybody because they're building these LLMs on like such a cheaper platform.
Yeah, that died down real
and they're able, yeah, that got hit real quick to the downside there. But we did have a nice downside play on first. DeepSeek was about a year ago today, I think, when we were, not today, but early first quarter last year. And that gave a big scare there that, China was, yes.
I believe it was actually the Monday, so that would have been the, I want to say 25th? The Monday, I believe, or 27th.
Of last year. Yeah, okay, so Dara's got the day, I've got the right week. So I'm getting closer, Dara, I'm getting closer. But anyways.
I'm not remembering stuff like that. I'll be the first.
Yeah. Well, so anyways, I knew it was, I thought it was about a year ago. So kind of, I guess a good guess. But yeah, so NVIDIA and DeepSeek, I guess, not too much to worry about. So thanks to Dara for bringing that up, that was already something that was mentioned.
I can tell you exactly where I want to get in and out of stuff, but like the actual date of it, like what's weird is I can tell you like by the second what happened on the IPO, second by second, in that first, and it only took like, I don't know, a couple of minutes at best. You're talking like 2 to 5 minutes for that IPO, like most of the action, and we'll get to it a little bit.
Oh
later
yeah,
on.
not even.
But I can tell you like from the order flow to like when the order hung and like my reaction to wait to see if you get the fill or not. Okay, why is it not triggering? It didn't trigger, cancel it and put another one. Like it just from second to second, it's wild. It's all happening in a matter of seconds. But for the first time today, a trend break. So on Intel, I've got 5 trades on Intel, breakout, loss, trend breakdown worked, trend breakdown worked, VWAP trade didn't, and then a trend breakdown doesn't work here. So Intel, most of the time, it's been pretty good on trend breaks. Not this time, but I did mention on Palantir that once that 150 was gone, so there's the break of the 150 level away from the volume weighted average price. It's consolidating lower, so shorting the consolidation under VWAP and the 150 on Palantir. I don't know why I get caught saying PLTR all the time. On Palantir, down 5% The other thing I want to be sure, we were just talking about how Bitcoin and MSTR and all that stuff is not looking very good. Well, Bitcoin's starting to bounce. We're at 84.2. Hey, 420. And we're at 84.2. But if this presses into the morning resistance, which is about 47.75 on IBIT, so not too much further, probably just a couple $100 on spot, then I want to look short in and around this level. Not VWAP per se, but this support to resistance here to hopefully resistance one more time. Bitcoin's taking it on the chin, man. I don't know what to tell you. Like BTC, there's the 50 period. It tried to break it. Huge rejection on the 50 period on the daily. And then you lose this little structure, as we like to call it, off 50. And there's just not much, there's really not much in the way of it dropping a little bit further here to maybe retest this 46.47 or the November lows, for lack of a better term. Yeah, can't say this looks very good here with Bitcoin. And then when you think about it too, like all the money that's going into the metals right now, like there's legitimate like piles of money going into gold, silver, copper.
That's what I was saying. I think it's a meme play, and right now people are focused on the bigger plays. But this day might ignite.
But if you want to bottom on IBIT, maybe you should be waiting for silver to fall apart and gold.
Right. I think this day might ignite some more traders into IBIT. I mean, you could start seeing Bitcoin starting to go a little bit more. Nvidia just came in. We took another 25 fill right there, as I'm not sure, just bouncing around. Netflix went down. We got out a little bit for flat there. That's my only fill that was at 79s, and then another 85. And I don't know, like waiting for it to break lower. I didn't take 79 again. Looking for this. Netflix isn't doing too much. We were trying to go short. Well, we are short, just against this level right here. I mean, how good does that look? You know, if I lose on this, I lose on this. And we talk about, you know, putting yourself in the best positions for, you know, the best kind of trades. And for me right here on Netflix, we kind of find this one, we pick it, it's down 2% today. Market kind of doing nothing. If the market falls down, maybe Netflix does as well. We are obviously aware of headline risk with this name, so we do have our stop order in. And never, like my stop order is only 10 cents. I mean, it's roughly, I can tell you exactly. Yeah, exactly, just breaking 83. We're out. So breaking 83 right there, we're out. These tops are actually 82, like 99. Actually, it didn't break 83 yet this afternoon. So if it does, we'll market it out. And, actually, this will be a market order. There's a lot of liquidity. We'll be able to get out for, and then unfortunately, we'll take probably about a 20-cent hit on this. So that's why I'm like, I don't even want to get out here, but it's not dropping. So once we realized that the 20 cents might be hard to get, we started taking out for flat there, and that was about 25%. So right now we have about 60% of this position left, and it's not the greatest, that's for sure. Our Marvell is just chilling. We've talked about that a little bit. We did get stopped out of our AMD, which was a good one right there. So thankfully, that was, we finally broke at that time, it was breaking, I don't know, it must have been breaking this 21 period, I'm not sure. But all the way to the downside there, why we got out right there. Oh, 245, that's why. Yeah, just that top. We only had a small piece left. We talked about trying to hold this all the way to the downside, but that was our initial short early, and then bye-bye to the basement down to 240. This name lost $20 today on 260. So we lost about 7% in the first hour, or 2 hours. This name that was down 7%. And it's battled back, and this kind of looks like Netflix a little bit to me too, right? Not trying to break above VWAP, not trying to do too much there, and if you do, then maybe you shoot up, because we've really been respecting this 200 period right here, and there we go. So yeah, just trying to do the best here in the last little bit here this afternoon as we hold on to some of these trades, and you know, not much is moving right now. If the futures do start to get going, maybe we'll be able to do something. I said to Joe, I was like, Joe, look at JP Morgan. That had some nice moves behind it today, and it's up 1.6% and trying to break out. So yeah, maybe a run to safety a little bit here, I think, for JP Morgan. You know, when there's a lot of sort of confusion in the market, it's easy to go back to the banks. They've already reported. It's a little bit of a safety zone there for many people. So we'll have to wait to see JP Morgan at $300.
And whether it's moves like today or maybe after we saw with the Fed in the afternoon, if you're a savvy trader and you want to boost your exposure to things like the Nasdaq 100 or the S&P 500, well, Beta Pro by Globex is for you with their 3x daily leverage ETFs with built-in FX hedging. This allows you to amplify short-term moves like we're seeing today, hopefully short term, and minimize the impact of currency swings. So if you're bullish or bearish, today hopefully bearish, these ETFs are built for active traders ready to take on the markets. Make sure you read the full risk disclosure in the prospectus at betapro.ca before investing or trading. And remember, of course, that as with all of these leveraged ETFs, you do have to worry about decay. I just heard Duolingo heading to the downside on some apparently some ChatGPT feature talk. It's like, well, what about all the LLMs doesn't hurt these guys? Because why not kick a good company when it's down? All jokes aside, Duolingo's been really, really nasty. Not a huge volume spike, but like everything else, it is falling and falling even further. TCGL, I just saw in the chat. Okay, that's that crazy stock, right? Yeah, that's this thing. Okay, so, I mean, I don't know who's trading this, but the TCGL, which had been halted multiple times for like over an hour, it's opened back up and is halting to the downside. Just in time after, and one of the reasons why you will get a situation like this where you're not halting for 5 or 10 minutes on circuit breakers is simply a lack of liquidity. So what happens is they're supposed to halt when you hit those bands for 5 or 10 minutes, but if it ends up longer than that, it doesn't have to be news. It can just simply be, we can't open this in an orderly fashion, and until we can, we're not going to open it.
Yeah.
And so that's what clearly has happened here. It's now halted. What the? Oh, what? No, that's not. Is this right? That's 55?
What are you talking about?
No. Okay, so anyways, it halted down and then.
What is the tap?
I have a tap at 55.55, but I have prints going off at 55.55.
Might be a.
Look, maybe it already gapped down. Either way, let's just say the wind is coming out of it. You know this is going to happen when you see a stock like this in the first place. But there's also a reason that a lot of day traders won't touch something like this, because you can't guarantee what your out's going to be. Like the way if I look at the IPO as an example, like my stop hung.
But it did halt again at 55.
I know, that's what's crazy.
That's why.
Yeah, so it's pretty nuts. No, but like my stop initially on that IPO hung for a few seconds.
Right.
And it stunk because we go heavy on the IPOs. I didn't even go that big. I gave up more than half of a good month today. That being said, the IPO strategy is like one of the biggest ones for the last year or so. So it is what it is. But imagine that on this. Like, what do you think is happening to you if something goes wrong on TCGL? Like, I always look at it this way. There's the risk of your trade, like say on Palantir. I'll just use an example of the stock that I'm in. There's the risk of your trade where I can say, I'm short here with my stop here. Well, what's the worst that Palantir is going to do over the 150 stop? Where are you going to get out if Palantir breaks 150? 150.05? 10? 20? I mean, those are like bad case scenarios if you got 20s of slippage on Palantir. On TCGL, if you just say to yourself, well, I'm in the money, I'm going to stop it out if it breaks $100. Where might you get out if you try to take out $100? I don't know. 97? 95? Get caught in a halt in 55? All of those things are out there in the open, meaning your first trade in this might be your last trade, ever. And then when that's the mentality, I like to stay away from them. So 55 is where it's at. Good luck with these things.
Those stocks are, you kind of got to be in there early and then just let it ride.
Yeah, if you have the long, like under $10 when it actually is doing, look at the volume it's doing.
Trying to play the game now is.
You got to have it down here like $10 when you could reasonably risk $1, and even if you get extra slippage, it's at least worth it down there instead of here where you're risking like $50.
Yeah, for sure. So watch out there for TCGL. May not reopen, but what time is it? Oh, 2:52. Yeah, it'll reopen. My bad. On that one, okay. Well, maybe Netflix. Marvell's going against us, which is what it is. If these futures break down, maybe Marvell will go, but we can go 2 for 3. All right. So I'm bidding 76. I told you that already. So hopefully Netflix will come in and give me that 76 fill there, and if it does, then Yahoo for the Netflix trading, and we'll see if we can get out of a piece there. We'll get out of about 20% of what we have on Netflix, and that will leave us with probably, well, will be about 50% of our position left. We're just getting at 25% of what we have left on that one. If it does come in, that's your 200 period moving average. And like I said, I wish I didn't have to take this fill. But I don't have to, but we're gonna get out of a small piece there. Oop, almost. And then we'll see if it falls back in. And then the next level here for Netflix, maybe the 60, as if. 1 penny away. Hopefully it comes in. And then I'm bidding 60. So that was what I was getting at there. My next fill will be 60. So hopefully that winds up coming through. Let's take a quick look at silver. What's going on there? We see the US dollar not doing a whole heck of a lot. We said that as this US dollar sort of came to the backside there, silver little falling, but I don't think it's following the dollar now. It's not really doing a whole heck of a lot. Underneath VWAP, I've been trying to trade off of some of these levels, but today they really haven't mattered too much. VWAP's been pretty, just back and forth here off the opens or off this afternoon. Off the open, it was great. We had a nice little move down there on silver, and it just kept on going. When there's moves, now the market's going to start to tick the other way here. So we'll probably get stopped out of our Marvell. We're out of a lot of this Nvidia trade, by the way. We just got another couple fills down here. So we take that 25, and then we just got a 190.10 again. So we're light now. We have 20% left of this position. I'm not going to reload it. If it takes down 191, then we're out. So this is just that same kind of trade as these all are right now. I think even if these go against me, right, which they are, Marvell is, Netflix is fine, and Nvidia is obviously fine. This is the setup. I'm thinking lower. The Nasdaq's down 1%. We were just looking to break. We don't. If we do and get lower, then all of these are winning. And then if not, we break higher, we can stop out for virtually free. If not better than free, because we've already made money on these trades. The only one that we haven't made money on, we haven't got any fills on, is Marvell, which that looks like, of course, the pick that I make long out of all these picks is the one I short, and but it doesn't matter, it's getting beat up today. Let's see what happens with Marvell. If it takes down this VWAP, okay, which it's almost going to do, then we're going to get out of this name immediately. So it looks like there it is. So we have to slap a fail on this one, but we just talked about that. It does break, and Marvell's a funny one. It's actually different than the rest. This is the trade that should have triggered right here. But we missed it, got it on the way back up with momentum against us. So that was the problem there. So we do have to hit a flush down there on Marvell. It's virtually no damage done P&L-wise because we hit Nvidia, but we will give some back there on Marvell. I just thought that was worth the break there downside, and it just didn't continue, right? So there's the break. There's the short. It only goes to 74, and then it breaks higher. So, yeah, not too much going on there with Marvell for me. We do have good news, though, while that was happening, and at least this was a good idea. We do get our Netflix bid, so that was good. So we do get our 76, and now we'll see if we can get lower. Now we're bidding 75 or 60s for that. So, yeah. All right, Majid. See, this is what I'm saying. You guys don't have to put up super chats. We have to try to see them. That's basically all that it is. I'm going to put this one up because I see it. No, it's not. So I'm saying, Andre, it's not a super chat, my guy. But we got it right here. If we see these things, and again, we appreciate the super chat, getting the attention, but here goes. What's up, Majid? You've been here many times. You have Apple options expiring next week. Come on, man. I mean, these kind of questions, honestly. So I would just say, it's not about the multiple messages. It's fine. This is the only one that I saw. So I was just going to say, so Majid, I would just say, my question to you is why do you have these options, right? And so you knew that they were going to report.
Yes.
And if you didn't, then get out, right? But if you did know that they were going to report, then today's your day, man. I wouldn't get out of them.
The purpose, because usually the purpose of getting in, if you know they report, the expiration is after the report, then usually your expectation is you want the earnings move.
Yeah.
Otherwise, why be in them? If you, as Sean said, if you didn't know, then you can just get out. Everyone's been there before. Whether you've, there was one time years and years ago, I was in this. I used to trade penny stocks, and so sometimes I'd take shot plays in penny stocks when I was a lot younger in the 20s. And I remember one time I was like, oh, there's this technical level on this penny stock that I was watching. So I took the break. I'm like, oh, so I just bought some shares in my account. And then I found out that these guys, I had no idea. I didn't even care what they did, to be honest with you. And then I found out they were reporting. And I was like, oh, well, I'm not in this for fundamental reasons. I don't need to be in this stock. And ended up selling it the next day for, I don't know, I probably a small gain, net fees or whatever it would have worked out to back then. And thankfully so, because penny stocks are penny stocks for a reason. They reported, and it was they got woodshedded or some nonsense after the fact. But I legitimately didn't know, which is kind of stupid, but I was making a technical trade. So you'll have to have some kind of a plan going into it. And that's a good question.
Yeah, it's good.
No, it is a good question because you have to think about like what it is that you're looking for, and if it is to take the shot on earnings, then I think you're supposed to do that. I get it. Maybe you get spooked by what you're seeing with Microsoft, but that's part of the game. Looks like this RPGL halted to the upside. Here's a small capper that A, has good volume, B, actually hasn't even halted yet today. For the first time today, halting and breaking the $1 level on the halt. Yeah, so it got to 99 or 98 or whatever, and now up at 10. The tap's saying 104, so it looks like it's going to open up at about 104. So RPGL, another small capper, up a couple 100%, and breaking the big and key $1 level. Well, I know what Luis would say about this chart. We had Luis on this morning. These are exactly the kind of charts that you don't want to usually chase. Typically, the good news is doing this in the afternoon, so I'd feel like it's probably not a hold more than anything else, but yeah, that's not the best looking chart that you're ever going to find on the daily to make you want to sustain this move. When I see this, I'm usually thinking the fail of $1 is a good trade.
Oh, Netflix.
Which we probably can't short this thing for free, so may not be worth doing anything here. But when it opens back up, I might actually see if we can short that stuff.
Marvell back down.
Yeah, I'm trying to reload in here on Palantir. It's hilarious because you look at the scale of how it's moving now. Like the stock can be in like a 50, 60 cent range compared to what we were doing this morning. Power hour is not going to move like this. This was $12 from top to bottom, from open to the, well, this low, actually even further here. But now it's basically just inside of like a 40 to 50 cent range as we speak. So play inside of the range on Palantir. All right, so I'm going to go to that RPGL and see if it's reasonable for locates.
Look, this is what happens sometimes, man, and this is what I'm talking about. Look at Marvell, just out, and then flushy. Ah, well. Netflix going down, though, so that's working out. Nvidia, not doing much. Man, that Marvell, damn. Oh, there's a question here I can answer because it's the same thing as all. I don't really understand this question, but hello, Neil. How long you take since you made the trade until you post here on the screen? It's just automatic. Like as soon as
there's about Neil, I found like maybe a split second.
Yeah.
Between every now and then it might take. So just come to my chart for a second.
It has to hit the platform and then.
So when you get the fill, the actual triangle, sometimes it's less than a second. Other times I've noticed it might be a second or two. Sometimes it just depends on how the computer is feeling. But it's relatively instantaneous. It's like the message comes back that you get the fill from the market, right? And then I see it in my blotter. The delay between seeing it in the blotter and actually seeing the triangle, at worst, is like a second or two. What I would venture is during the IPO, there was a slower order flow for sure, but that was maybe like a 2 or 3 minute long event once the stock had opened up. But you see it pretty much right away, as fast as possible. And then keep in mind, we're live on YouTube here. And YouTube itself, typically, 10-second lag, 5 to 10-second lag on YouTube.
Oh, for that, yeah.
And if you have a longer than 5 or 10-second lag on YouTube, just refresh, because it shouldn't be any longer than that. Oftentimes, it'll be like something with the PC. You have too many Chrome things open up.
Yeah, so it's all programmed here, so hopefully our trades will show up on time, and we'll move off of it on there. Okay, I just want to check this YSS.
No.
Remember that the price, so I don't know if there's going to be size here or not at 34. It doesn't really look like it. I can see the NYSE book, which I think is where Goldman and Jefferies would be using, but I don't know. So if this comes back to $34, that was the initial IPO price of $34. So that's where like all of the insiders would have gotten shares and whatnot. So long at $34. I believe it was supposed to IPO at the upside of its range. It was $31 to $34. So 34, and that was just like on this move. It was. Goldman was just like, screw you to $34 on the way down. They let it go all the way to $32.50, but someone stopped it right there from moving down. Again, it's not like a huge amount of volume or anything at that $34 mark. There's almost nothing, but that's an interesting level there. So let's wait to see what happens at 34. I did pay for shorts. If we break through 34, then I think that you go short on York Space Station right there. So yeah, $34 short break on that name. Let's go, man. We got a good trade here on Nvidia, and we've got a good trade on Netflix.
And traders, whether you trade U.S. stocks, options, or futures, at some point, each of you has felt blindsided. The stock you're trading moves sharply, and you're just left sitting wondering why. It's not your fault. Often, a lot of times, you have these funds that have built up huge positions quietly in the options market well before the name that you're trading even reacts. So to gain an edge in today's market, Spot Gamma's daily Flow Patrol report reveals where big money is positioned. So you can identify stocks building momentum ahead of major price moves. To get 2 free weeks off Spot Gamma's Flow Patrol, scan the QR code you see on screen and go behind the curtain to see what the professionals see. Maybe you'd be in Southwest. I don't know. Like, what's the only thing, what starts with L and is one of the only things that's actually strong today? It's Southwest on that earnings, which is hilarious. I'm going to slap the gigantic, I don't have my fail thing on. This morning when we talked about this, we're like, oh, you know, maybe Southwest breaks out the 45 level. I didn't really give too much serious thought to it. We're just like, I think that's a good breakout. If it does so after earnings, I think that could be good. Well, while that's happening, Southwest was chilling out here at 43 on effectively no volume. And then what happened right away at 9:30? It just screams to 45. Even this part, this is the worst part. It dips back into 45 even or 44.99 before now racing higher. If the only place that you could have looked for strength today, I mean probably the VIX, Southwest, RCL, it was airlines and cruise lines today that showed you strength. And I'm talking about from start to finish. You're not talking about buying things off the bottom. Like, you could have had these right off the open when they were instantly doing more than the market was doing. CCL was up like 4 or 5% when we first started looking at it. 9% to the upside for these guys, and a huge breakout for CCL. Look at this. This is what gets me. How many times have we talked about accumulation on a major moving average on a stock? So look at the accumulation going into RCL's earning report. So you have one of their competitors going to report, and look at the accumulation. It's just sitting there barcoding. Good report for RCL, breakout for CCL. I don't know, man. Sometimes make it harder than it is. To be honest. Super chat here for Deep.
Oh, we should get a poll up.
I just like the name. Deep Cheeks AI. Okay.
I mean, yeah.
Okay. What do we think happens with SoFi tomorrow? Thanks, Neo.
Oh man, it's.
What's hilarious? Appreciate it. The name's Neo.
Thanks, Neo. Your name should be Neo.
No, but what's crazy? You know how sometimes you're in a movie theater and you can't hear the dialogue well enough. Some movies are like that. Any Christopher Nolan film, but I remember I never forget watching The Matrix for the first time, and at least for the first 4 or 5 times that I heard Neo, I actually thought that they were saying Neil. And then it wasn't that deep into the movie.
Shit, I was like, I'm famous all of a sudden.
Oh, that's not actually my name. What do I think happens to SoFi? I don't feel that great about initial reactions on any stock after today. It doesn't mean I don't still like SoFi. I like the company. I'm just not that optimistic about how we're going to react. SoFi has this tendency not to show love after the report. And it could even go up, initially after the report. It's what happens after is usually a bit of a sell-off or at least a pullback. So on that vein, I'm still of the belief that we're testing the 200-period moving average. I have not bought a single share of this since it broke trend. And until it gets to the 200, I'm not even considering it. So I'm thinking after what we saw today, everyone seems to be getting punished unless your name is Meta or, like I said, the airlines and the cruise lines has nothing to do with them. You throw in the fact that crypto is not looking incredibly good. That not a big deal here, but it certainly doesn't help at all. My gut is telling me that we probably head a little bit lower, which is fine. The stock has been a rocket ship. It probably deserves some kind of a healthy pullback to get better prices for the long term. Where like when you look at this hold, is it insane to pull back into the prior high at like 18? We haven't retested that. That could happen. That seems like it would be a great long-term buy at that price. But I'm being really patient with SoFi because I feel like they always sell off after earnings. Adara?
Time for more hyper-specific analysis with Adara ahead of earnings. I want to talk about Apple revenue in Greater China because we know this is a metric that people care about. And I want to specifically, I was kind of curious as I was going through these numbers, I noticed a pattern where Q1 year-over-year declines were a lot steeper than those of Q2, Q3, or Q4. In fact, Q3, sometimes we actually get year-over-year increases. So that, like the graphic on the left just shows every quarter for the past 16 quarters, so Q1 22 to Q4 25, what the revenue was. Then the graphic on the right visualizes this in terms of like year-over-year, what is the change that we see? And as you can see, Q1, steep declines on a year-over-year basis each time. Now, what quarter are we getting tonight? Q1. So be aware we could, based on this pattern, see a pretty steep year-over-year decline in China revenue. Again, if you guys have any ideas for things that you want to see in terms of Apple earnings, in terms of SanDisk or earnings tonight, always tag me in the chat because I want to create real-time infographics for you guys as we get these numbers tonight. Back to you.
Right, thank you. Adara, TCGL opened and closed again, and it's open right now up to $60, $62. So it did halt. It's going to halt again, and I just wanted to send this up there because we get. I said, "What the hell does?" He was saying, Adam was saying he got schwabbed today. So I was like, okay, what exactly is that? And I asked him, and there's not a great experience trading penny stocks. Does anybody have any other platforms? And I think some people were talking about Robinhood and Fidelity, IBKR, things like that. So, you know, try it and, you know, see if there's,
yeah, the way they move,
halted again.
You really need a good broker and platform.
Like that shouldn't have halted there.
Huh?
Actually. I don't know why this just halted, to be honest with you.
Maybe it's finally holding for news then?
Wait a second. 55. I didn't see this go to 55. Maybe
I've seen some fishy stuff on that.
Maybe it just did. But it just halted now. So I don't know. I guess maybe it halted because it went from 55 up to 61 again? I don't know. But anyways, this name now, 1510 is the most, 1509.49. So you're going to have to wait till 315, right. And then this will open back up if it's just a 5-minute halt. But that's just, it's been dancing here at $50. So anyways, I'll clear that out and thank you for sending that in. It's power hour now.
It does say volatility halt.
Last 50, it does say it? So,
yeah,
okay,
it is a volatility halt.
That is what it is.
You can always just double check at NasdaqTrader.com and then, or just Google Nasdaq and trade halts. You'll find this page pretty easily. And then it'll give you the reason code. So like, is anything halted for news?
Or Public Power just halted.
QNCX. Quince Therapeutics is halted for news.
Find this one, RPGL. Is it on there? Because it just halted 2 minutes ago.
There you go.
So what does it say?
LUPD is also a volatility.
Yeah, limit up, limit down.
Limit up, limit down. And then M is also a volatility halt. So volatility, limit. Those are basically the same thing. This is the one on news. Every time I see Quince,
has this not halted before?
I just think about it was a final answer on the Jeopardy for White Man Can't Jump. The answer was, what is a quince? I don't remember what the question was, but you know, kind of a weird line in a great movie.
What is a quince? Yeah, I don't know what that is.
It's some kind of a fruit.
Like quintuple? Oh.
But I don't remember what the clue was. I just remember Rosie Perez saying, what is a quince? But whatever that stock is, it's also halted. Look, ultimately, oh, wow.
NVIDIA ripping up.
I just saw Adwis saying why I invested in Bull. You know, there's
it's 750 today.
I was going to say, like, we haven't even talked about this one in a while. See how long that chart took?
Like, NVIDIA just did not break there. I watched it, and it punched me out.
We flat bottom broke on Webull today,
like,
by the way.
I don't even understand what's
going on. Yeah, flat bottom break. This was a triple bottom on Bull. Ever since it lost that $10 level, which for SPACs, that's like your line in the sand. If it's a SPAC, $10 level, holds good. Second time, well, you could maybe argue this bounce, that's 13, not 10. And then down here the third time, I was long here when it held 10 long, and I think it held 10 for like a week or so in there. And I had it, where is it? I have to refind it again. I think, yeah, it was right in here. Like when it started holding 10 for about a week, I don't remember which one of these days I would have taken the shot. Then it broke it right after, so was instantly out. Did not take it when it tried to reclaim it here. But so I'm like, I've swung this twice and I'm 0 for 2, and I have zero reason to get into this again until it shows a break of the trend. Like the trend looks pretty nasty. I gave it the shot off 10 the second time. I'm not even sure I should have, to be honest with you. But it is what it is. You gotta have yourself
bye-bye.
Because this, like stocks like this, they trend down for a reason.
Okay, man. Yeah, what's up, Majid? Oh, there it is. thank you very much for everything that you're doing to us as well. You've traveled all over Europe and traded with us. So shout out to you, Majid, and we'll say awesome to be able to watch us and everything all over. Awesome. And there it is right there. So we'll clear that out. Yeah, I said I got stopped out on Nvidia there. I don't know, but now it officially broke. So yeah, 191. Again, pretty fine with that stop. We can see that we're up on Nvidia today. It's the only trade that I made there. So yeah, good. Now I'm thinking about, honestly, what about going long here now into the close? And I don't want to just be trading and flipping and doing this and doing that, but there's the break, there's the hold, here's the break higher. Potentially now Nvidia wants to work to that upside. I want to put a poll out. I'm just trying to think about what it could be. We have major stocks. We could put which stock do you think
we could just put red or green Apple, or I think SanDisk.
No, but I want yeah, that's what I want to do, like a SanDisk, Apple, SoFi.
Western Digital. Oh,
yeah, I mean, we can do both.
What the problem is, SNDK, Western Digital, kind of tied at the hip.
That's what I'm saying. I don't mind doing both names.
I'll throw something up. So what was it? You said Apple's obvious.
Well, Apple, SoFi is tomorrow morning, so I think that this is the last time we're going to be able to vote on anything SoFi related. I don't know. What do you guys think we could do for that? Would you pick for? Oh, that's a different question. What would I pick for a dip buy? I'll do that in a minute. But anyways, let me know or let us know. So I just went long on Nvidia finally, just breaking that 191. We'll see if it pulls back into 190.75 or so. But we'll try to play the long now and see if momentum into the close. The thing is the one trade that I wish I had on, and it's just I'm still bidding it, but it's not going to come through. I was bidding 257 down here for Apple, and we missed it. I was trying to get close to VWAP, close to the 200 period moving average. It just continues to work upside right now. Apple into earnings with the Nasdaq down 1.1%. Apple's up 6.6, right, 2/3%. So this could be a good report for them. We'll see where it goes. But yeah, SoFi would be something to talk about. Down 1% today. Feel pretty good about the earnings report tomorrow. The banks haven't been that great, and I would think that, yeah, you might be right. Maybe you do get that 200 period moving average around 2250 or so, and that comes into play, and you'll be liking your trading if you're able to get filled in and around there. So 2250, not bad. See, look how easy it is when you play momentum, man. It's crazy. I sit here and struggle. Well, and we didn't struggle at all. This was a really good short. So I shouldn't sit here and be like, oh man. But we do get stopped out there, and then once we just go long, it actually just basically rips up 30 cents right from that 191. Look how long it took to get 30 cents the other way, and now when you play the momentum and you go upside, it gives it to you, no problem. There it is.
Before you hit enter, you have a fourth option here.
We just got, there's 4 options?
I can do 4.
What is reporting today?
Oh, come on.
All right. Let's see. TTV Research. I'm just going to go to TTV Research and get that up because Adara has everything. And here it is right here. Go to TTV Research for anything you want. This is what Adara was just talking about, Apple's greater performance in China there, greater China performance lately. China. Here it is. Oh, Exxon. Oh, all these guys are tomorrow.
Okay, so pick.
Right. Let's just go Exxon then. Let's go Exxon. All right, so Exxon, SoFi, Apple, or SNDK. Sure, Micron's not reporting. So, yeah, Visa, whatever.
No one cares about the credit card.
I don't mind Visa. It's not a bad idea. Derek just yelled it in the background.
I mean, they're bigger than SoFi, but I don't know.
This is the first time I remember where all 4 credit card companies reported in a 24-hour span. So we had MasterCard this morning, we have Visa tonight, tomorrow morning we have AXP.
Okay, so there you go.
So even if people want us to do
Visa,
I've already made it, so it's too late.
Would you buy before tomorrow's open?
Yeah, so basically which one do you use? If you had to buy one of them, Apple, SoFi, SNDK, or Exxon. I know for sure it's not SNDK. That's the problem with all of this. I'm bearish on all of them. I'm going to go with Exxon.
I was going to use that. I was going to go XO.
When nobody picked XO, okay, maybe.
Really? I'm picking it. I was going to pick it.
Did we see what's going on with tech right now?
I just picked oil, too.
Apple 41.
Because this is what XOM looks like. I just said to everybody.
Yeah, look at those charts.
I tried to make a small little point there. Was look at this chart. And I just said, like on Nvidia, look at momentum.
Who's picking it?
We don't have a red freaking candle. Like this day here was $2. We've covered that up the very next day, blasted through. So since January 9th, one red day. But doesn't mean, I guess the question is before the open, so I guess we got to figure out what happens to the stock. But I even think, even if it's hit, man, I really, really like XOM. So, but I think Apple could work. But as you said, we did have a great report from Meta. Sure, Meta's all the way back up. There's no doubt about that. It's near its day's high. But it did get crushed right off the open as well. Sure, it ticks a little higher, but you know, this would have been down to 714. You're like, what happened? Now all of a sudden it's all the way back as the Nasdaq tries to settle down a little bit and even push. Yes, yes. Go Nvidia. Nice move there for NVDA, still going a little bit higher. We'll see where we can clap this out at right now. We wish we would have had a little bit more on this long, but you know, that's always the case. So we'll put an offer at 42. We'll see if we get something there, and then we'll see if we can keep on climbing. I'm trying to hold the majority of this trade, so we're only out right now of 20%, so we'll see if we can hold the rest of this to the upside. How far upside, you may ask? Good question, Sean. Talking to myself. 192 is that level that we sort of got back to already today. So why don't we go like 191.75, and then after that, we'll just edge it up a little bit and see what happens on a 192 break. So let's go to 191.75. We're almost there. Well, not really. We've still got 40 more cents to go. There's 20 minutes past 3 right now. There's only 25 more minutes. That's 345. 350 will get those imbalances, and then we'll see what happens. Hey, this might not even get up to my level of 70 right now, but we're going to try to hold this bid. And then, like I said, on any kind of a momentum play, I'm going to try to use the 21 period as my out. So that's 190.90. So we just got to put in our stop order there, and we'll trade it out if it breaks through 190.90 there on NVDA. Okay, so that's going to be the trade for right now, and we'll just see if that can support. That's probably going to get up to 191 at some point, but 190.90, the flatten out spot here. And let's put it in together. 190.89. I always go one penny. Let's go 88. Let's go William Nylander. We'll offer that out, push it, offer, enter, and now we sit on our hands and wait to see what happens with Nvidia heading into the close. You know, maybe Apple. Well, Apple's not going to be a Capex story. Oh, we're excited for Apple and Google, maybe. You know,
it's not a cap. It's like the definition, not a cap.
Least.
Well, what's the definition of cap? Is having a stop at 150 on Palantir. We reloaded a few times. It just ran stop and came right back underneath. So I didn't grab it on the way back through. I think this time I will, though. If it gets back up, it's just holding this little consolidation with lows at 149.3, with the top at about 150 bucks. So if it's going to stay inside the range, I'm going to try to reload it. Maybe get a couple more scalp trades in before the close. By the way, the early look imbalances, that's not a nothing. Like Joby with a 3.5 million buy imbalance. Remember, Joby had the offering this morning or overnight. I don't remember if it was, actually don't remember if it was overnight or in the morning. It doesn't really matter. But they're down 18%. On volume, I guess it was last night, and then it's getting smoked.
Was it an
today.
offering or a short report?
No, it was. These guys was an off. These guys were an offering, not was. So Joby was an offering, down 18%, and now you're looking at a 3.5 million early look buy imbalance for this. That gets interesting. I'm going to throw that one up on the side burner, as I believe we're going to my left.
Yeah, PDSB Biotechnology under the Nasdaq. PDSB is transforming how the immune system targets and fights cancer with initial focus on HPV-16 positive head and neck cancer. HPV-16 can cause head and neck cancer, and more people are facing these high-risk cancers than ever before. HPV-16 positive head and neck cancers are projected to become the most common type of head and neck cancer in the U.S. in just a matter of years. Learn more at pdsbiotech.com. That is pdsbiotech.com. Thank you so much for these gifted memberships. And there it is, Steve Irwin. Thank you so much, Steve. What's Steve Irwin? Thank you so much for that. That was a great show. By the way, obviously, unfortunately, passed away there, but thank you so much for all of that. You got to get those checked off, and they've already been claimed there. But you know, get into our chat for when that happens again. What it's going to get you is Sharif's morning note every single morning, 15 to 16 pages or so of data that you can follow. Current news stories. It's a great read if you're looking for something to do. Check that out. And thank you so much, Steve, for that, man. I mean, our community is already the best. We've talked about that. Look, no matter what you think about Josh Brown, you're going to see one pump right here today in Joby. Who do you think went on air, paid for a spot, and said to buy Joby? So that was Josh Brown, if you guessed that, and there's the pump up right there.
It was a 12 right to VWAP too.
It does not work, but that is what was tried there. And again, I'm just playing around with that. I just know he mentioned it on CNBC, and I was just going to say, like, there's the move down. So if you do like the business and the company, remember, they have to register and file for these offerings well before. So it's not like they just dropped it on us. It's if the company's working and you like the space, right, the aviation space in Joby, then maybe this is a good spot right now to pick something up in and around this $10 mark. So you are getting a little bit of a break on this. It's down 50%, you know, or well, from 15 to 10. So it's down almost 50%. If that gets into 7, that would be it. So down 35% right now in just a matter of a week. So this could be something worth taking on the downside if you do like the space. So watch out for Joby and just look at some of its competitors. I don't know when it reports, but sometimes you could take advantage of offerings when it's in a good stock. Like SoFi had an offering and brought it back down to like 21 or something at one point, and then it came all the way back up the next couple of days. So just pay attention. If it's a stock you like, an offering isn't necessarily a bad thing, but do your research on it. I'm not trying to say buy Joby, but that's the thing. If you do get a good stock that you like a Microsoft. Like if you're an investor and you like the long-term story behind the cloud, behind Azure, what Microsoft's doing as far as OpenAI relationship and everything like that, down 12% is like a gift. So take advantage of it. Don't pile into anything on day one, but
you know what I would say though?
Might be worth something.
Like I don't know. We're obviously in IPO mode, so I wasn't really paying attention to what was getting said and what wasn't being said, and we're not watching CNBC. If this was actually just, and any stock does this, it's down that much, and it does this kind of a pump into VWAP just because someone mentioned it on a program, then look at the candle afterwards. See that? Wick top rejection, and see this candle? Well, that's a turn. Like, I think you're just effectively like, why not just be short this to that as just a standard mean reversion trade, right? You know, the reason matters. Like, if news gets dropped that's materially it matters to the company, of material importance, well, then maybe you don't put on that kind of play. But if it was literally someone just said something on air, I almost don't care what the stock is. It was downward trending before, down double digits. It goes right into VWAP and tries to break, shows a reversal candle. That's a pretty standard setup for a pullback trade. So, you know, you can take advantage of those kind of things. Adara?
I just want to let you guys know here, this CCCX, CCCX moving a little bit. I'm seeing it. I'm not sure if this is confirmed or if it's older news, but the stock is moving, so I want to mention it. Churchill Capital Corp, they are a special purpose acquisition company. They're going to be acquiring Inflection. Well, apparently Inflection, which is a quantum company, has grabbed a senior executive from Amazon's AWS. So that's probably like why this CCCX is moving. I also wanted to mention again here, because I know short reports were mentioned. If I have time tomorrow, I'm going to be posting these, but I've been working here on basically like a breakdown of the Carvana short report, and then also a lot of this Richtech Robotics short report. So I mentioned this in the midday, but in case you missed it, the basis of this short report here with Richtech Robotics was that the company was claiming they were in a close collaboration, and this is important, close collaboration with Microsoft. Then we had Hunter Brook come out and say that's not true, they're just a customer. Well, here's the thing. I actually went back and looked at the announcement that Richtech made. And so based on like the definitions of the program they're with, they're in here with Microsoft. They do refer to work between the companies as collaborations. So it really just sounds like Richtech Robotics was using language from Microsoft's own website for the program. So a lot of the crux here of this short report is really easy to refute. Again, though, that's just my quick analysis. Either way, and people have been speculating on social media pretty similarly as well. Either way, quick recap there of that RR short report in case you missed it. Back to you.
Weird. Thanks, Adara. I mean, that's a great coverage there on that short report. So thanks, Adara, for going over all that and then trying to help us figure out Wagwan. Bless you. Wagwan. All right. Wagwan, Shane be smoking.
Call for.
I don't know what you're smoking. I mean, actually, this is probably better than, you know, tobacco, but up to you. I ain't no doctor.
Probably better. No.
What's your call? Yeah, I guess so. What's your call for dip buy swing? Hey, look at the TV back there. That's really nice. AirPods, Apple action back there. I like that as we get ready for Apple earnings. Look at that. Look at that B-roll right there. Plug in your MacBook, man. Plug that MacBook in. But okay, what's your call for a dip buy swing with today's sell? For me, it's a pretty easy one. We'll give you one. Neil will give you another one if you want as well. I think there's some plays that we could do here. For me, it's going to be Palantir, honestly. Not just because I really like the stock, but it's more because of this move down. So today, for no reason, we didn't get a story on Palantir or anything like that specifically, but this has been really beat up. You mentioned a swing trade on there, Shane. So I was just going to say, like, this is coming into some good levels right there. If tomorrow's a bounce back day, Palantir will bounce back, I think. I say I will, and then I think at the same time, but no certainties guaranteed. But this is a nice move to the downside right there with earnings coming on Monday. I think it's due for a little bit of a pullback. Will they continue to sell it? Quite possibly. So that might not be the greatest play for a pullback, but I think there's some kind of a worth it there. If you're talking about today's sell-off, I don't think you want to make a call on Microsoft or Netflix or not Netflix, sorry, or Meta or any of those names that had a play today on earnings, because I'm not sure that they're going to react well tomorrow. But I just think that if you're talking about a swing, Palantir could be it for like a one-day play. But into next week, just remember that they are reporting there on Monday. So I would say pass on that. And then based on today's sell-off, let me give you one more that's going to seem a little bit strange, but JP Morgan, okay? Like, look at the opposite end of the sell-off, okay? We did sell off pretty violently today, right? JP Morgan's up 1.5%. The banks are starting to get that feel again. So if you're talking about a week or two, or maybe just even 1 week swing trade, I think JP Morgan can get back up to here, 320 and change. If you get a couple good days, you know, SoFi is not going to really rally the banks, but if it can come back up to the upside, why not play the other end of that trade, right? Play the fact that look for something that was strong in today's sell-off, and then play a rebound in that name. So I would say JP, I mean, you could pick any bank, but look at the banks. So I would say that's something for me.
Well, banks are where I'm going. I wanted to say Amazon, but then I hesitate to pick somebody that hasn't reported.
So we got same ideas.
I just can't pick somebody that hasn't reported for that. And I've said countless times today, every time I've been asked, I'm like, I don't like this for a dip buy, give it a couple of days. Don't like SoFi, wait till after earnings. Give Microsoft 2 or 3 days because Amazon was worth 2 or 3 days, and it worked out better if you waited a couple of days. But, and at Morgan Stanley at least came down to the 50, we're already like the 50 period, so it came down to the 50 period, and it might even go green. Now, well, kind of running out of time here. 30 minutes, I believe it went very close to getting green. I just prefer the banks that are related to trading and to, you know, the IPO market, which is coming back in full fold. Like when you have, look, we're going to get SpaceX, that's going to be massive. I just think those are a little bit better position, and they've been stronger. So I'd have to go with them almost by default. I really badly wanted to say like a GE Vernova. Can't pull the trigger. Because my response would be like, what dip buy? Like GE Vernova, if there's a stock that's flat today that I'm just a little bit surprised. I think the good thing for them, of course, is the big Capex spend. That's why they were able to recover the bleaks. Like it just gets sold off with everything else this morning. But then after that, it's like, well, wait a minute, if the Capex spend is going up more than expected, then what's your excuse for selling GE Vernova? And it kind of snapped right back. So you're not really you're not getting a discount. So what's the point here on GE Vernova? Without that, I can't call it a dip buy because you're not really buying the dip here. You're literally buying where it was yesterday. So it doesn't count.
So at some point, this is going to turn around for me, but maybe not today. We just punched the bottom right there. So honestly, my stop order was in there. We were going to give it to 190 or so, breaks below this level. I'm not sure why I didn't give it like more room than that. Should have spent a little bit more time looking at that trade, but the market is coming down. I think we'll try to buy that again against this level, or just buy it right there against there. So that was a little bit of a silly out.
Oh, you know where a dip buy is coming?
For me on Nvidia, but
not yet, but we're starting to get there. For weeks, culminating with whenever this thing was over $29, what have we been saying on this show for Warner Brothers Discovery? Netflix is not raising their bid. Nobody thinks the Paramount Skydance offer is going to get done. They didn't raise it either. So every time this was over $29, it was a short. Well, you look where it is now. It is underneath the cash offer of $27.75. It's finally starting to trade under the realization that it's the Netflix deal that's going to be done. Well, what it's not counting on yet, which like, don't at me. I just keep, like, I keep mean reverting it on the day trade, even though it's trending down. Like, whatever. I like mean reversions. Probably should be shorting this thing. But right now, it is trading under the price, but it's not really factoring that there's time value of money here. The deal's not going to close right away. It's still going to take a while, regulatory issues. So even if it closes in the middle of the year or the back half of the year, you then have to find the fair value, which, I don't know, just slap like 3.7%, whatever the interest rate is at right now, and slap like 6 months on it. That should be trading probably somewhere in the low 27 range at best. So I think it's going to slide down to that price, but there will be a moment where it gets far enough underneath the Netflix bid, and if it's not completely kaput, the Skydance offer, it'll be worth it to pick it up. I don't think it's there yet, but I do think we're getting into that realm, and might be good for swing. I was actually discussing this with a trader at another floor at poker night, and we're like, well, how far would it have to go down that you'd want to do a swing trade long on WBD? And I was saying it has to break underneath the Netflix bid, and then I'd start considering it. So it's getting close to consideration. Oh, there.
I want to talk here about YSS. Yes, that is the IPO from today, York Space Station. Kind of a wild headline here. Looks like the CEO is on Fox Business saying that the company is the leading operator of satellites in orbit now for the Department of Defense. So YSS CEO looks like engaging in some uplifting of the company, if you will, on Fox Business after its IPO. Back to you. The stock does not care, though. So.
YSS. All right, so we just got like, you know what I'm talking about, man. Like, we get stopped out right there at literally the bottom, and then boom, this comes in again. So I don't know if there was just some news on Nvidia or something, but the futures just sort of shot right back up there. So yeah, whatever. We were sitting at 35. We got it. Good position out too. We got it at 20% there. So not bad right there, man. This TCGL is just not stopping. Oh, there was a super chat from Easy Peasy. Let me just get that right now because I don't want to miss it there. He watched Rogue. Oh, you got it already. Okay. Watched Rogue Trader. No positions today. Improved your IRA. So that means you probably bought some Microsoft or whatever dipped down earlier. Maybe some Meta. I'm not sure. Maybe. Oh, I didn't even check out IBM. What that's been doing. So good. You saw Rogue Trader. What a great one. What is APPU? Is that the Apple like triple levered or something like that? Inverse something. I don't see. Am I missing, or do you mean APPL? I'm not sure. But anyways, yeah, I think Apple will be fine today. I don't think you had to put that in any sort of an account right now. But I don't know. I don't see what APP.
I think you're making some kind of a joke with the 5/8 account.
Oh, is that maybe?
So for anyone who hasn't seen Rogue Trader, Nick Leeson, for whatever reason, he was able to do. I don't know, he was like the head trader, but he also did the clearing. When he was doing it was the Asian markets that he was trading in.
So just let him be responsible for everything.
Yeah, so he was hiding his own losses in the 5/8 of some account called the 5/8 account. And so he was able to still look like a superstar while he was DCAing into like this crazy futures position after like an earthquake.
Yeah, so he was like he was reporting the winners but not the losers.
Yeah, so everyone thought he was like a rock star.
So he kept getting more buying power.
And then the story goes that the DCA came right back in. He ended up making money on it, and then he did it again, and it didn't work the second time, and he bankrupted Barings Bank. Great story. He's now
Neil was in Palantir. Oh, you're out of it now.
No, Palantir. Oh, I got wicked out. Look at this.
Yeah, right. Okay. Maybe that's what they're asking.
There's the wick out. It hasn't come back to the 150 to retest. There's still some time. Like there's 14 minutes until the imbalances were to come out, but this is now on the wrong end of the V. Like there's the wick out, and then it finally flushes. Now we're bouncing off 149 even as we head into VWAP. So this is on the wrong side of it to try to take it. Like in the afternoon.
Oh, there's a new round.
Yeah, I want to be very particular. Like it has to be a really clean setup, and this is fighting.
Look at Microsoft.
If I try it. Well, what happened to software?
There's the story's out now, but there's a new funding round for OpenAI, and apparently. Amazon. Yeah, okay, Adair has all the news, so let's go over there, but right now Microsoft ripping.
Yes, guys, here I've been dissuading Amazon, as reported by Wall Street Journal, going to be investing up to $50 billion in OpenAI. Still in talks, though. OpenAI funding round could value the company as much as $830 billion. So over $750 billion here for OpenAI. Now, we've heard reports of different companies investing in some of these AI startups over the last couple of days, but this specifically, again, involves Amazon reportedly investing up to $50 billion in OpenAI. That is according to the Wall Street Journal. And again, still a report, still early talks. Back to you.
That YSS came to market with $4 billion. Like obviously YSS is not OpenAI, but $830 billion in the in the private markets. Like that is like insane. And obviously they haven't raised that much money. That's just a valuation that they're raising at. I think we could probably find out what exactly how much they've raised. But I'm hearing SFTBY, also SoftBank, wants to get involved in this as well. No surprise there. So look at SoftBank there to the upside. I can't believe that people come in and say, I'm willing to invest in this crazy company right now at this kind of evaluation, and the stocks get this bump. Like that is insane. So basically, Microsoft makes a lot of sense because they have the biggest share in OpenAI out of all of these public companies.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And they have it early. They have it 2 years ago. So Microsoft definitely catching a tailwind here of OpenAI's valuation. So there it goes. And I'm not sure what percent, Mike, can you double check that, what percent Microsoft has in OpenAI at this point? I'm not even sure what that looks like for them, but Microsoft definitely catching a bid here from 423 right to 429 right there. So upside now on Microsoft.
And it's not the only thing. It's
Nvidia's going.
It's taking the market up. Like everything's going. Palantir just broke VWAP for whatever reason. It's on this headline for it is what it is. Why it necessarily would move Palantir is beyond me. But the Qs are finally breaking. There's only 10 minutes to go till the imbalances. Ugh, gotta be kidding me. Too fast on the drop down. There we go. Load afternoon charts. The Qs just broke the channel, so you're getting a lift on everything. By the way, that Joby imbalance is still there. It's smaller. Don't like that as much. CIVI is a buyout. GDX is a 3 million early look buy imbalance. You've got BAC 2.5. I don't know what Sorrow is, but that's a 2 million sell imbalance as well. Yeah, Palantir right through VWAP. That's why when people are saying, it's at that 150, you're going to short it again. No, it looks very different from when it was consolidating. Your short is there. At this point, like either you're long already. I'm not chasing moves going into the imbalance. Not a fan of chasing late going into the imbalances where you could get a bit of a flip scenario. Mean reversions are typically what I look at when the imbalances are coming out. So about 10 minutes to go. It'll be mildly interesting, but
Shane, no, this is the same one as before. Remember when you asked me and I said buy some Palantir? That was just like lucky into that market. But if you had done anything, there's $1.50 right there. So if you're playing options, actually, especially for a swing, you just get out. Like I don't know how much those just matured there or what you bought, but there it goes. So yeah, okay. We'll do the pat on the back there on a little bit of luck there as Palantir goes. We had nothing to do, obviously. Had no idea that was going to happen. But was talking about a market rebound and potentially Palantir rebounds. But the story, I guess, the biggest name that I heard there was Amazon, and SoftBank. But Amazon looking to get involved in this round as well. I believe they're already in. That's a good graphic for Adair to do. All the public companies that are currently invested in OpenAI. One of the bigger ones, of course, will be Oracle.
That'd be a good pie chart.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be an awesome one. And you can see Oracle's probably, yep. So it's like, what's happening here is that I think that a lot of this worry that comes with OpenAI is settled down a little bit the more big players that you get involved in it, because if OpenAI does have a cash burn or something like that, they can go back to the Nvidias, the Amazons, the Oracles, the SoftBanks now of the world and say, hey, look, we need more, or else this whole thing is coming down. And so I think that with Amazon getting involved now, we already know Nvidia was involved, which is part of the reason why Nvidia is going up right now and then right back in, is that there is investment in this already through these guys. So will that hurt Google? Maybe. I mean, Google's smart enough. I think they also have an investment in OpenAI, but they're going to work on their own programs with Gemini and whatnot. So, no surprise here as that story comes, we see everything else going one way and Google coming back in. Because Google can support, they don't need to raise money to support Gemini, but obviously OpenAI does. So OpenAI has to go to private markets. Google can go to the public markets. They can get bonds or whatever they want. They won't do an offering, but they could do an offering, which probably wouldn't affect it. And there's two classes of stock anyways for Google. They have GOOG as well. So different strokes for different stocks there. So anyways, Google downside a little bit there, and Amazon and the rest, nice upside. So Yeah, just gonna hold this. We did get out on some nice topside plays there, 190, 150, kind of matching on Nvidia right into here. So a bunch of good outs. We said that the top side might be 192 anyways. And remember I said 192.70? Well, that's where it went to, is we're able to get some out when it went up to that top, or was it, no, 191.70. That's where we got some out there on the top side. So we'll have to wait to see now if it breaks through 192 with imbalances just moments away. And then join all four of us, Adara, myself, and Brendan at 4 p.m. for the closing show, where we'll be talking about after hours show, I should say. All the stocks that are going to be reporting tonight, we'll have them all for you. Primarily Apple and SNDK, right?
In order, everyone says they would buy Apple before the open. Well, 43% say they would. SoFi doesn't report till the morning. That's 29%. SNDK, 15% like them. XOM's also in the morning. But those names, SNDK and Western Digital both report tonight. Apple is obviously the big one. Let's be real. But we should really not be sleeping on what has been, I don't know, probably the most parabolic stock in the market has been SanDisk. We saw what happened today. If there's even a hint of a moment like what has happened to Carvana, just structurally, or what happened in general to like a Microsoft, I think the cover that they have is the Capex spend was big, so really, where is demand going to go? But if they slip up on their numbers, there's high expectations for Western Digital and SanDisk, and nothing has performed as well as them. So I think this is the one, percentage-wise, that could move the most. Still about 5 minutes to go. I don't know the timing. Apple's usually not right at 4 o'clock. I feel like Apple's usually a little bit after the bell, relatively speaking. But I'm not sure. We don't usually pay attention to SNDK.
No,
so I don't
know what to expect.
Yeah, like most of the time you're like, oh, these guys report at 4:05, these guys report at 4 o'clock, these guys report at 4:10. I've never cared about SNDK earnings until literally this report. This will be the first time in a while. Why is Palantir so strong off this headline? It's hilarious. What do they have to do?
It's just a Nasdaq, I think.
Yeah, it's just a Nasdaq thing, I suppose.
That was part of the prediction there for Palantir, was just more like, hey, if we do get a rally back in the Nasdaq, potentially something there for PLTR. All right, man, here is a medical device company to keep an eye on, NView Medical. Ticker, we had them on today. It's Feed, okay, F-E-E-D. The company designs and markets a guided feeding tube platform to hospitals across the United States. Today, the majority of hospitals do this procedure blindly, leading to unavoidable injuries from misplacements. Think of this platform as a GPS for feeding tube placement, which can improve patient safety and streamline how care teams work. What stands out to me is the growing appetite for this platform throughout the United States and hospitals, and how their tech fits right into clinical needs. Today, they are already in 38 hospitals. As hospitals push for safer, more efficient solutions, NView looks like a company building scalable technology with real-world demand behind it. Definitely one to watch. And Adara had a great interview today, around 12:30, I think it was about, or maybe a little bit later than that. So go back, rewind, check it out. Midday show interview with Feed. And you could see what their stock has been doing, man. It's been absolutely ripping, up another 76% here today, and there goes Feed. So definitely check that out. Dara, do you remember what time your interview was?
Just before 1.
Your interview today with Feed CEO. Your interview today, do you remember what time that was? There it was, 12:45. So we're close enough to that. So go back and find out their Feed right now, 76%, and trying to go higher. So yeah, that's a pretty good one there. Tesla seems like a short overnight in the chat. Okay, does it? Okay, yeah, maybe. Overnight is risky, obviously, but yeah, you're right at a breaking spot. So with more bad news, and again, I don't like to really call tops or bottoms on names. You know, we sold our Intel before the earnings because we got some, well, I got it at 25% at 53.50. You know, too late to sell Tesla now. Not too late. I mean, you can, but you're going to miss that whole move. So I was going to say day 3 is generally the earnings sort of time, day 3 after earnings. So you're going to want to maybe till Tuesday to see some of the action there. Generally speaking, you'll get a flush on day 1, then day 2, people trying to figure out what that positioning will look like, if the bid's supported or not. Day 3, if it wants to go higher, is when you'll start to get that bid coming in as people start to say, oh, maybe the bottom's in. And then if the bottom is in, then indeed you will see a much higher move to to the north side. So we'll wait to see for Tuesday, Wednesday next week for basically all the names that report this week. Try to give it that kind of a period to let it settle down. And
just for some of the questions in the chat,
especially
here.
SNDK.
SoFi is a Nasdaq stock, so for those asking in the chat about the imbalance for SoFi, you'll know at 350. The early look, which we show you, just gives you New York and Amex. So GDX, of course, the ETF, gold miners ETF, CIVI, that's a buyout deal closing. BAC, 2.3 million to the buy side. Citigroup, 2 million. Halliburton, 1.3 sell. Southwest, which is up a ton today, 17 or 18%. Sell of 1 million, and Joby still 1 million. That's been declining. It was about 1.8 million to the buy side. Now it's only 1. So you'll see SoFi and other Nasdaq names pop in right about 350, almost, we'll get 350. You'll start to see them matriculate. There will be changes. They do move around in real time if you're watching for the first time. And then at 355, that's a big pairing event. So a lot of times the imbalances will start to pair. I do wonder, you just answered a question about Tesla first swing. I just saw
okay, well, we can still look at it.
Easy July put on SNDK 440. If SNDK pulls back, I think 440 is not even, that's very, I would say it's very realistic. I just have no way to time this thing. I do believe there's going to be a hefty pullback in it, easy peasy. But I've been saying that for a while, and thankfully have not tried shorting it a single time. The whole way I thought this was out of control. The moment hasn't necessarily happened, but I do think, remember SMCI, that's who I'm thinking of. Remember SMCI on the way back in with imbalances in 30 seconds. You didn't need to have the top on SMCI. It was completely and utterly unnecessary. Once this thing was unwinding, there were so many chances to get in. It's insane for SMCI.
Yeah.
This is not split adjusted, but even before the split, there's the top, and then the split, who cares? But you didn't need the top on SMCI. There were lower highs abound. When it's falling apart, you're gonna get your chance. So I don't feel the need to guess too early on it. That being said, yeah, earnings would be a good place for it to start.
Okay, here we go, man. What just happened to Nvidia? Oh, nice upside move. So it must be a buy. Wow, 3 million? Finally, something's working out. So we'll have diamond hands by accident sort of on this one. Not by accident. We had this topside take, but you get lucky. I was actually exiting out of this trade as these imbalances were coming out at 20s there just because. And there's the boom, boom, pow to the upside there on Nvidia. So, all right, GDX, BKR, I don't know what Civi is.
That's a buy.
That's a buy. Okay, that's doing something. There's your WBD is on there as well. BAC with a buy. We talked about potentially going long on JP Morgan. Joby with a buy, so that might help some of those bids going through. I didn't see Intel today, actually, 48.50, so they're a bid as well. 1 million shares. I feel like this is a pretty big number here today. It looks like there's lots going on in there. Adair just gave us those numbers, and actually, I'm in the wrong chat. So, okay, so we don't have it right now. Okay, she's got it now. But we're going to go over that in just a second here. It's big time. Nvidia there, top of the order right now as far as the big trades are concerned. GDX, though, the gold miners, this has been just as much of a play as GLD, as you can see. Straight upside as on this as well, down 5% today. No SLV on here, but there is ZSL, that's the other way. This one does
huge volume.
Yeah, 900 million shares.
It's one of the most liquid things you're ever going to see.
Oh man, that's a crazy one. Right there, the market was 1.5 billion to buy, of which 80% of that was the Nasdaq names. So big time Nasdaq bids here coming through, and as you see what happened to the Nasdaq, boom. We are down 2.4% today. Holy crow.
And we're going to end.
That is, don't call it a
We're
comeback.
not going to get green on the Nasdaq.
Look at
but
this.
The ES is only down 0.3%.
Look at that. Talk about dip buying there.
Just
trust these names, man. All right, Apple, I guess so, trust, I don't know. Apple, boom, 260 ahead of earnings. We definitely like that call right there for Apple. Meta's probably at days high with this kind of an imbalance. It sure is. So there's Meta right now as well. And then the good positive news about Microsoft and OpenAI on a new funding round. Microsoft definitely getting the top tick there of 432 and pulling back into VWAP right now. So yeah, man, get those calls and get ready to go. The market is blasting. Visa, Apple, SanDisk tonight. The three big ones. Tomorrow, SoFi. XOM,
Yeah.
CVX.
By the way, SNDK does have a sell imbalance. It is not, where the heck is it? 300,000 shares I see as a sell imbalance. I had to do this. I had to create a list. To find the small ones, I create a list of individual stocks. That way I can see something that doesn't have a significant imbalance. So 360,000 on SNDK. That's all it took for it to go down $10. But remember, this is not the most liquid stock. There's two things to consider with the imbalance. A, how big of a percentage is the imbalance relative to the amount of volume it's done? And B, how big is the imbalance relative to the actual liquidity you see on the stock? So in the latter case, there's not a lot of liquidity on the individual stock. So volume-wise, it's not a huge deal, 360K, but hitting the bid for anything on SNDK is going to be nasty. Ooh, this is going to be an interesting one. I feel like this is the one that's going to be the most fireworks. Apple, it wouldn't surprise me the way the dip buys have gone today that maybe they get a bit of a reprieve and we don't have a Microsoft or Meta type moment with Apple tonight.
No, I've always thought Apple was a great setup.
It's more steady Eddie even, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it'll have a 10% move or anything, but yeah, it was more the setup that we came back in, we sort of absorbed this 200 period moving average without even getting there. We just sort of down ticked a little bit. A couple good days heading into earnings. Up, it was always up today despite what the market was doing. I mean, maybe we did catch a downward draft there, but you know, I remember when we came back on, we were like, okay, Apple's up today against a flat or against a real red Nasdaq. Obviously, this has matured up now, and now you're up full 1%. So talk about going oppo the market. I like Apple. We'll see what SoFi is doing, see if there's any sort of an early indication of, you know, potential movement on SoFi tomorrow. Not really. It's not really doing anything into the close, so we'll see if that bid winds up holding. Think about these bank stocks, man. We had some decent earnings from JP. Like, they all had decent earnings, and they all fell. So if you're going to do something, then do something with SoFi, but be very, very careful, as a good report doesn't necessarily mean that thing went moon on that. Coinbase, when Coinbase finally stopped going down, I don't know the answer to that one either. Pretty violent movement into $200, and it looks like it doesn't think about holding. We went from 208 today right down to 193 was the low, right into some of these levels. So Coinbase, I mean, I remember this stock when it was a $40 name. So it's, you know, it's had its moments, and it's had its IPO moments as well in the 360. Like, we're not even talking that long ago that this was $70. This is 2023, and even goes lower from there. So yeah, just getting hit right now is Coinbase. Probably better to look at this one on a longer term, longer time frame. But yeah, right now not great. And there it is, man. It's now $1 in. As there goes Nvidia. So yeah, we're happy, but for me, it's going to be a red day. We did have. I mean, I can't be green. I put, you know, the most amount of risk into this trade because we've really hit well on these IPOs. But today we were sort of sniffing it out. So we did lower our shares on what I thought, but still used big enough for it to hurt. So not a great trade there on York.
I like to look Apple's
space. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I'm not even mad about it. I'm just telling everybody that was, you know, the much bigger risk for me. And I lost about 10% or so of what I made on one of those big ones. So yeah, so it does suck and it does hurt, but it's a drop in the bucket to what I've made on these things in the past.
Yeah, like it's a weird thing because it's like it's a drop bucket to what they make in the past, but it's enough to be like the only reason that I'll be down today. Right? Like, and then give back a chunk of the month as well, because like the IPOs are this like one-off event where you don't even compare it to regular trading. Like momentum trading was green today, but the IPO just sucked. And the worst thing about it is the IPO was a great short if you took it. And we paid for locates.
Yeah.
And actually didn't get any shorts.
Silver at the highs.
Yeah, some of these are pairing off. That's the buy. That was actually pretty good. That I headed to the downside if you took this one for the imbalance. But it is pairing off. Microsoft, 2 million to the buy side. BMNR kind of sticks around here at 1 million. Nvidia is pairing off now to 1.2. Joby is actually holding steady a little bit here on the imbalance at 1 million. Intel at 1 million, but they are starting to pair. We're going to swing around in maybe just one more minute. SNDK has, that grew again. Oh, that's crazy.
What is it?
No, it had paired off, it got smaller, and now it just got back to 500,000 shares. Oh, no, now it's back down. Okay, never mind. It was just sort of flipping around. It is back down to paired off. I just saw it flip back up and then back down. So SNDK is now flat, paired the entire thing off. But that doesn't really matter. What's going to matter for them is going to be earnings here. Western Digital, SanDisk. I do expect some fireworks here. Like, what kind of a stock can do this on the, forget about the year, the last 2 years. It's insane. On the year, this stock was, where did we start? $237. So it's more than doubled in basically 1 month going into the report tonight. So for anyone out there that feels like Apple is going to be the most volatile thing, you're wrong. It's going to be this one.
Apple will be the least volatile.
Least volatile will be
out
Apple.
of all of them right there. There it is, man. Hot dog cannon to end the day. But my number one P&L name will still be, wow. Okay, my top two P&L names are AMD number one, Nvidia number two, and they're Oppo, Nvidia downside, number one P&L play, and Nvidia upside. Although we flipped, we were short, made all the money back going long. So yeah, not too bad there. All right, we're gonna flip over. Let's throw it back over to the desk there. Brendan Adair will take you in to the close. 1:30 left. Nasdaq trying to get green. Can you freaking believe that? The Nasdaq's trying to get green right now. We're gonna have Apple earnings abound in just a couple minutes, and then we'll go from there. Maybe Adair can let you know when that print's gonna come out. But let's throw it back over the desk. Neil and I will flip around. Join us past 4 o'clock. We're staying late today. Back to the desk.
Maybe a little bit later than you think.
Maybe a lot later, actually.
Yeah, maybe a lot later than you think, Sean. Apple's going to be 4:30, guys. It's a little bit later than the rest, so stick with us. We'll bring you that when it does come out. We'll talk a little bit about what to expect. We'll talk about a few other names coming through as well, including, as the guys were mentioning, SanDisk, going to be very, very interesting as far as memory plays go. I was just reading some of the expectations for SNDK higher than they've been for quite some time. So we'll get that much earlier than anything else. What a day it was, though. Here's the SPY heading into the close here. Basically running into the close here, as the guys are saying, trying to get green on the day. I don't know if we'll actually get there or not. We would have to get all the way back to 695 here. So a little bit further to go for the SPY. Nasdaq a little bit closer here as we head into the close. But yeah, all eyes going to be on Tim Cook. All eyes going to be on Apple and the rest. You know what else I was looking at before I came over here this afternoon? What's coming up next week? Because you know, we were talking about and focused on how important this week was. There we go. There's the bell. We did not get green for either the Nasdaq or the SPY. But anyways, just off the top of my head, I mean, AMD, Google, Amazon, Palantir, to name a few, all coming next week.
What I've noticed is sometimes the week after the Mag 7 earnings is actually a bit crazier than the week of the Mag 7's earnings. And furthermore, Brendan, usually Google and Amazon will all report the same week as Microsoft, Apple, and Meta. Tesla usually reports before. So this is all kind of crazy. And it is worth noting, there will be a 25-minute gap between all of the main earnings, or the non-Apple earnings, and then the Apple earnings. But guys, guess what? It's okay, because I will be continuing to make content for y'all on X at TTV Research. There will be Apple, there will be SanDisk. There are things that will be posted literally as we're speaking. So X at TTV Research for all the earnings content that you need. But yeah, I think it's the moment of Tim Cook here for sure today. I was saying to the guys, I have an infographic I'll show later to kind of back this up, but it's interesting. Q1 revenue for Apple for China drops sharply every year. So, and this is Q1 for Apple. So Q1 China revenue is going to be on watch for fiscal Q1. So yeah, I mean, I'll pull that up after, because it is very, very clear that there's a distinct trend with Q1 China revenue for Apple. So I would expect a drop here, but we're going to have to wait and see.
Yeah, let's see. 265 to 270 is the expectation on the EPS. 265, I was reading before I came over here as well. That would be a record if it does come in at that or above, obviously, level. 138 to 139 billion on the revenue side of things. We'll talk about iPhone sales, as you mentioned. I mean, 70 billion range for iPhone revenue specifically. Somewhere around that 70 billion mark would be exactly what analysts are expecting. As you said, you know, China going to be a very, very important market for them. SanDisk, meanwhile, on the other hand, we'll get that much before. Consensus 267 to 268 for SanDisk, 2.31 billion for SNDK. Keeping my eyes on this one here, guys, as we await SanDisk. Should be 405, I think, was the posted time here for SanDisk. But I mean, these memory plays have been so hot lately.
You've more than doubled on SanDisk alone. to start the year, and they're just talking, and we're not even done January. Micron's gone nuts. We also have, look, Western Digital. There's already some action in Western Digital here, but I don't see the numbers. They're also going to be reporting as well. So in terms of volatility, I think this is where it's going to be. The good sign for them, as we were saying before with SanDisk, is, well, look what happened last night. All we were talking about was the Capex spend. Meta more than expected. Microsoft more than expected on the Capex. That's going to bode well, because that just means the demand for the memory chips is not abating. If they're saying there's going to still be that demand issue for the next year, some of the spending is sort of fortifying that. So that would be the good side of it. The bad side would be, well, how many times do you go into earnings more than doubling going into the month on a name like this? Not very often. Nope. So to say that we're priced pretty aggressively here on SNDK would be a bit of an understatement.
I mean, look, last quarter's adjusted EPS last quarter was $1.22. You know what we're expecting today? $3.78. So you're talking about like a triple up from last quarter on SNDK. So they're looking at an EPS. The last quarter's estimate, so this is Q1 of 2026, was $1. So right now the estimate $3.78. I think it's a little hard to hit that, but we'll see if they do that right there. Revenue expectation $2.62 billion. Last quarter $2.3. So there is an expectation of quite a big move there. Data revenue last quarter up 26%. So that's a big one, right? If you're going to get data center talk, you're going to need to see revenue beating last quarter's number of plus 26% quarter over quarter. Net income $112 million last year. Last quarter, we'll see if they can beat that as well. EPS guide adjusted 3 to 340. So we're going to see if they can come out. So Darryl will have all these numbers.
Oh, yeah.
Parsing out as soon as they come. And Neil, it's 122% year to date on SNDK. So just a small
move
gain so far
I love the
there.
number 22.
Wait, what day of the month is it?
Yeah, almost the end there. The 20.
It's been a short year so far. News on Robinhood, guys, or more details anyways. The U.S. reportedly considering Robinhood as the primary platform for the proposed Trump accounts. So aiming to spur investing on behalf of children going forward. This is a fantastic idea, the concept anyways of these Trump accounts. So again, Robinhood reported, or the US reportedly considering Robinhood as the primary platform for processing the Trump accounts. So we're up about $4 or $5 here on that.
Like, if we're ever talking about the government picking winners, I mean, that is the definite. I mean, forget about the fact that the accounts would even be there and just the inflow that you would get for them. That's not even the big deal. What the big deal is, once those accounts are there, you might never leave. Like, effectively, you could just set up an entire young generation of people to be sitting on Robinhood, which, I mean, I guess you kind of already are to a certain extent. That's really good news that's unbelievably good news, I think, for Robinhood if they were to do it. Now, I have no idea how the reaction might be within the industry to that kind of exclusivity. It seems a little crazy to me that could actually happen, but at face value, that is fantastic news for Robinhood.
Just seeing Visa coming across. First one of the evening here coming across here. Visa results are out. We're downside 317 EPS versus 314. That's a beat. 10.9 billion versus 10.6 billion. That looks like a beat. Visa processed transactions $69.4 billion, slightly below estimates. And again, the processing transactional value, 69.6 billion was the expected there. So bouncing off the low from earlier this morning, not a huge move here, guys. Still keeping our eyes peeled for SNDK.
Yeah, Visa down slightly on this number. We talked about some of the credit card worries. I think you want to wait for the call to see how serious that 10% cap maybe is there on Visa. But yeah, a nice little downside push there. If you're looking at a daily chart for Visa, I think we can think about getting long anyways, almost immediately if you like the stock. I mean, we've fallen from 360 right back into these levels that keep on getting bought up. I don't know if these are actually real down here, these ticks, but 314, 315 seems like we've been down here before, and we could probably try to absorb that. So right now we just turned green right there on, or no, sorry, it was up on the day. Right, downside right there, down 3.2. 328 right there. I'm not sure what the percentage this is down here, but
It's out.
right now Visa heading to the
I have
downside
something.
after hours.
Western Digital's moving there.
We could check out, SNDK maybe
Maybe it's
is
WDC.
out. If Western Digital, okay, yeah, SNDK is probably out, guys.
have it.
And oh my, up 10%, Adara.
Okay, well, the revenue is up 31% sequentially. That's at $3.03 billion. That's going to be well above estimates. Data center revenue up 64% sequentially, so good look there. Driven by strong adoption amongst AI infrastructure builders. They're expecting third quarter revenue between $4.4 billion and $4.8 billion. Non-GAAP diluted net income per share guiding between $12 and $14 a share. So this is a massive blowout report here for SNDK. Wow. Revenue here, again, up 31%. Quarter over quarter, gross margin up 21 percentage points, 50.9% gross margin versus 29.8% last quarter. Operating expenses actually dropping, which is a nice look there. Operating income up 505% year over year. Net income up 617% year over year. Now that is slightly slower than the growth we saw last quarter, but still really, really good, obviously.
Monstrous, absolutely monstrous. I was just going to pull up MU. I was just hearing moving around.
Oh, that's up for
this
sure.
As well, just took out the highs. But guys, SNDK almost touched $600, 14%.
No, it is. It's at 601 right now. I mean, I don't even know what's stopping this name now. With that report, comes out good. We said 26% was the bar. Derek just said 31.
Yeah.
They said 26. What the hell is that?
That's not even close.
There it is. So there's up another 14%. We have Western Digital. That's going to come out.
That's up 5 points.
Yeah, that's up 5 points before their numbers even out. So Western Digital, they got something to compare against. Darren, let us know when WDC is out.
Looking.
That might be out soon. There's a lot of volume.
No, their numbers are out.
And bye Micron.
No,
anyways,
it's completely
WDC
okay.
is out actually.
I can literally picture shareholders like Jabba the Hutt just going ho 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 ho. Like that's all they're doing. These are ridiculous numbers. This right here is it's a kind of a half. If it wasn't for the fact it was already up so much, it's the kind of report that's like the Nvidia report. Remember like a couple of years ago when we were just like, what the heck was that? That's what the numbers are. Yeah. The problem is it's already up so much that no one wants to believe it up here, yet the shorts are getting destroyed time and time again.
Let's get WDC.
Let's talk about it, guys. Q2 adjusted earnings, $2.13 above estimates of $1.92. Sales, $3.017 billion above estimates of $2.924 billion. Guiding Q3 revenue between $2.15 to EPS, $2.15 to $2.45 above estimates of $1.96. Guiding sales for the quarter for Western Digital between $3.1 billion and $3.3 billion. That's also going to beat estimates. So both our memory names tonight hitting it out of the ballpark, though obviously SanDisk performing much better because that's just Parabolic.
Just reading another note here. Bloomberg reporting more on this Robinhood story as well. Basically saying that, they're going to oversee the Trump accounts, or the U.S. government weighing the option for Robinhood to oversee. So it's just more detailed on that same story. But SNDK thoughts here, guys.
First of all, I see also that there is 3 firms that there's going to be trying to battle for those.
That's how it should be.
For the Robinhood accounts, and they're all going to sort of give their...
Fidelity and Vanguard, you're right.
Yeah.
It should be everybody gets an equal shot at it. Otherwise, you're picking winners and losers as the government.
Yeah, I mean, I like it for Robinhood anyways.
I still think it's a great story for them.
I mean, we already called Robinhood down to the $100 mark, and that's exactly what happened. All right, well, SNDK, I mean, woe is me. Nice little pullback there off of 600. You could look at psychological levels. Obviously, when we're talking about PEs and everything like that, you're going to get blown out the water on this name anyways. So SNDK, here's a huge move. This is what it looked like before on the PE side of things. Right there. Actually, we don't have a PE right there. We have a forward one of just 40. So we'll see where that goes moving forward now. But in what a blast off right there. Here's that 550 level. There's the take up to $600. Oh, did I just say 597 or whatever it was? How about 612?
Yeah, it just broke.
We just broke the high again. So we just went back in and straight up. There's no liquidity in the aftermarket, but you could see SNDK upside. And why would you choose SNDK over WDC? I have no idea, but one's going and one isn't. So, it's sort of tale of 2 reports here. WDC catching some SNDK tailwinds first, but not catching the bigger story here. It's SanDisk.
I mean, even the guide is just so ridiculous here. They guided to a $13 midpoint EPS when expectations were $3.63. Like that's almost.
Or was that maybe that's full year?
350% above the midpoint. on the guide.
Okay.
Like it doesn't even.
And we're still going.
It does. It's like one of those. I'm saying it's like one of those. That does not compute kind of moments. So ride the wave. Look, they bought the dip up. There's not like in the 3 minutes. There's not even a red candle in here. And as to Sean's point about there not being any liquidity, I just pray. I'm not saying this will go up forever, but I do hope that nobody would try to short this thing in the aftermarket because good luck exiting position. Like these numbers are pretty parabolic. Like we were saying this entire month, all it said is, man, the bar is being set high, and the bar was being set at the point where they needed to beat. Everyone knew they needed to beat.
Yeah.
But man, did you think they were going to be 300%, 350%?
This thing's
I
going
was
to be
like, yeah, if they don't double the expectation.
Where's that whisper number? We need to
This is
see
going to be up 20% here in a couple of minutes.
This is insanity.
It's still going. Might not even be the biggest move. Here's Deckers, guys. Absolutely rocker tip on this one right now as well. 1.95 billion revenue, beating 1.8 expectations. EPS 333. Estimate was $2.76. So huge to the upside for DECK. Again, 5.4 billion. To 5.425 billion was the guide, also higher than the expected 5.36 billion, EPS 680 to 685. DECK.
Yeah,
Wow.
man, I talk about Hoka. You know, they got the Hoka brand, they got the Uggs, man. Everybody, like, you know, hands up. I my winter boots out there are Uggs. I have Tasmans. They're so super comfortable. So shout out to Australia and Uggs. But Deckers, yeah, really, with just a PE of 14, they continue to go higher right now. And what a move there for Deckers. A little bit beat up there. We saw
this chart on the weekly looks fantastic.
Okay, you have the weekly chart up?
For Deckers. But basically, the gap that you're seeing right now is going to take you right through the 50 and the 200 period moving averages on a weekly. Remember, it's a weekly chart, so it would need to actually close the week to confirm this breakout. But if it's above 110 at the end of the week, then Deckers looks absolutely fine, and we're trading at 116. So this is a higher time frame breakout for Deckers, because let's be real, like it hasn't been performing that well when you look at it over the weekly and the monthly time frame. It's been beleaguered, and you've needed some new names to start breaking out, because it can't just. I'm struggling to say, well, it can't just be tech all the time. And I'm having to say that in the face of what SNDK is doing, because apparently it can't just be tech all the time. No, but in this particular case, it does lead to some of the market breadth and other names and other things that are breaking out. And it looks like the consumer has been okay. And yeah, like you said, they got a lot of great, fantastic brands. That's a very good-looking weekly chart for Deckers. Does need to hold on to these gains. A lot can happen in the aftermarket in the reaction to earnings, and we get all hyped up about it. And then 9:30 tomorrow morning can be a bit of a different story. So it's important to at least hold on to some of these gains. Meta did a good example of, in the midst of today, holding on to those gains. Did a very good job of it. Not always the case.
You have to 100% raise guidance. If you do not raise your guidance, you're not going higher. Deckers did that. They're going higher. SNDK
350%.
Obviously did that. They're going higher. We saw Microsoft go oppo of that. They went lower on their guide. They got smoked. Meta went higher. They're winning. So I think all you got to do is sandbag it and guide more. Apple's a little bit of a move down here from 259 at close down into 257 as traders prepare. I just want to give you guys that note. We are now 15 minutes away from that print. We believe it's going to come around 4:30. Adair is already glued, ready to go on all of that as well. A scared trader, yeah, what's up, Tony? A scared trader is a faulty trader. I would say into that one, you do not want to be scared to put on a trade that you've thought about, okay? It's one thing to get all emotional about trading and get into it, but I think a prepared trader is the best trader.
You know what? I absolutely hate that saying. One of the most important features of being a human being is fear. Fear sharpens you.
Tell that to
Literally.
that Taipei guy.
I'll tell you straight up, it makes you focused. Like it's one of our most natural resources. It's how you use it. Now, some people out there get all emotional or start freaking out, can't make good decisions when they have that heightened sense. I'm like, heck no. It's literally the opposite, man. And if you've ever been in that kind of a situation, and I'll tell you, I'll give a perfect example. I have been in a fat finger trade where it's just like, you're like, the first reaction was, oh crap. But then there's that hyper focus. Well, you're up-ish creek and now you just got to deal with it. And that split second, if you can turn that switch, that's what matters. Not get emotional about it, but use that to have that laser focus. So I'm just not a fan of that saying. It's a weird one out there. But you should be afraid to short SNDK.
Yeah.
I don't give a darn
now,
what anybody
especially.
said. You better be afraid to short this stock.
Did you hear, by the way, Sean, you mentioned that Taipei guy. Did you hear, by the way, how much that guy made for?
Yeah, $500,000. I know. I said to my kids last night, he's going to climb Burj Khalifa.
Can't even buy a house.
I know. Actually, that's the example I made to my kids too. I was like, this guy's a father. What the hell is he doing? But I would say I would tell, if I was doing Burj Khalifa, I'd tell him I need $10 million.
Did you see Mr. Beast came out? Like Mr. Beast came out and said he would have paid him way more.
Oh yeah. No,
on his YouTube.
He's going to do Burj, and that's going to be his last one, and it's going to be a monster payday. So I'm not afraid to short SNDK. I would short it right now. You have this 630 top. You have an out. So for me, I would short this. Not now, it's pulled back. But if you can get this to like 624, 625, I think some energy can come out of this. Remember, once everyone's looking at Apple, the shiny fork or whatever, spoon in the drawer, will get a little rusty. I still think it's great. I mean, it's obviously a great stock. You're up another 16%. It's just continued climbing here. But why not, man? We have an out right there. I think you could short this thing against 630, but understand there's going to be slippage when you miss that trade. But right now, we sort of have a decent spread. It's $2. I'm not sure the kind of share size you guys will be working with here, but yeah, a break of 630 would be out. And I think you don't want to get short until 620 or so. But yeah, there it is, a little bit of a pullback. I know Micron and some of these other sort of secondary plays are catching a little bit of the shrapnel on the downside, but a nice move upside there for Micron. And of course, WDC, I don't even know what those numbers were actually. I was so focused on.
Yeah, they were double beat and then better than expected guidance. Yeah, I can go over them again.
So then so then like this has better than expected guidance and a double beat, but yet is down. You know, so
there's more.
I think SanDisk might have seen the top.
There's more squeeze aspect to SanDisk than there is to WDC.
I was just reading, guys. SNDK is now officially a triple since the beginning of this year.
What?
That one's
Which
a
is
squeeze.
It was up 122% before today, though. I thought it was. Maybe it's a different one.
Year to date.
It was on.
That's what,
year to date.
3x year to date.
What?
Year to date, right? Yeah, because it was $230, right? Yeah, $615. Absolutely crazy stock.
Microsoft losing a measly $357 billion in market cap today. I just saw that pop up in front of me as well. Microsoft with
SNDK's up $400 in 20 days on the chat there.
Unbelievable.
Wow, absolutely insane. And I don't think you want to stand in front of any of these things. Do we even have the short float on SNDK here? Let me check out
last I checked
what that is. Yeah, it's nothing. It's 4%.
You have to remember, for larger cap companies, if you're above 2% on a short float for a larger cap company, that's actually pretty decent. Like I think Tesla usually gets in around there when it's considered
actually not a bad number.
And Palantir too. Like I think Palantir is probably like 2 or 3% for a big company.
5.
Yeah. Might be higher now.
Yeah, so 5 now. Yeah, so if you get above 2 or 3% on a bigger company, that's pretty legitimate in terms of short interest. It just makes it distinctly different. Obviously, we're waiting for Apple. I believe we're waiting for 430. Someone in the chat just asked, is it 420 or 430 for Apple?
430.
We are expecting 430. We should get the Apple earnings. Probably not going to give you the opportunity to move the way SNDK is, but you know, it's obviously a stock which the market is going to care a lot about.
Yeah, but I mean, last quarter they got 185. This quarter they're expecting 265 for Apple. So I really feel like there's sort of a disconnect of what we're expecting here for Apple. But hey, big time. We're looking at revenue guidance growth between 10 to 12% year over year. So that's the number that we're looking for. If they can somehow guide higher than 12%, this thing moons. But we'll have to wait. China growth, obviously, in focus for Apple as well. We'll see what those iPhone 17 numbers look like. And then on the call, Chief mentioned AirPods.
Just don't miss on services.
New things like that.
Services.
I want to see them. I want to see them beat on services. If they miss on services, I think that's kind of a bad.
I mean, that's a huge.
That's where your margins are at.
30 billion in
30 billion is
what
services,
is expected.
And in a good margin business for them.
Yeah. Last quarter, 28.75 there, 28.75 billion. Can you believe that for services for Apple? All right, let's just check back in on SNDK quickly, and then we'll go over Visas to the downside. So there you go. So we just had, I was saying maybe 620, but I went to 618 there. Quick check on Visa as we'll go back to financials. They making a move down, now down 0.3. So Visa, SanDisk, Apple, and then the big one that was a little bit of a surprise, Deckers. They're upside 17%.
I'd say that's a huge surprise.
Decker, yeah, I'd say it's a huge surprise. I mean,
No
we
one
weren't
was
even
talking about it today.
It's average move. It was probably trying to go 5 or 6%. They have a short float on Deckers of 4% as well. So.
That's it.
Yeah, I thought it would have been higher. I just double checked. It's
Yeah, apparel companies
4%.
usually have been having higher short floats. But
Conference call 4:30 for many of these names, guys. So, all right. What about some predictions for Apple? What are we thinking? Anybody?
less than the
price?
expected move. I don't know.
Nah, just not prices. What do you think about the move
What's
there?
our
What is the
expected move,
expected
5?
move?
Oh my God, I think it was smaller than that. The expected move for AAPL, I have to scroll, I posted so much today, 4.2, so 420 here.
420.
Ha ha ha.
Right. I was going to say under 5%. So that's
Yeah, so just under 5%. The largest was Deckers, then SanDisk, then WDC,
What was that?
Visa smallest. Deckers, the expected move was 11.2%.
Ooh,
Who blew that away?
there we go. So that's not coming out of nowhere. We were like,
No.
hey, Becker's kind of surprised us all.
And I
It was-
post these
guess it really
expected
wasn't.
moves every day, guys. You can always just find them, like usually an hour before the earnings come out. So
That's why you follow Trader TV research, because we're sitting here saying, well, a little bit more than we were expecting on Deckers, and then Deckers was actually the biggest expected move. No, but that 4.2% on Apple, it kind of feels right to me.
Yeah.
I think even if it moves past it, I think we can settle in that kind of no move range would feel about right, especially the way the market got bought back up. But again, it's going to matter. You need to be in the right places. Like I said, I think the services is going to be a big deal for them. By the way, WDC is now in the red. Western Digital is now down 1%.
I just heard one we had featured on the show here, down ticking as well, a little bit, not a huge move, but Feed, F-E-E-D, 2-day runner here, giving some back in the aftermarket. If you missed it today, make sure you go back and watch the conversation. Adara did a bang-up job as always, talking with the CEO live around lunchtime, 12:30, 12:45.
12:45.
We had the CEO on the show. So FEED has been a 2-day runner coming back in here, guys. Under 10 minutes to go, about 7, in fact,
Kind of
until
headline.
we are supposed to get Apple earnings. We are chopping around here, but how much, guys, do we look to? I mean, we talked about the services angle. How much do we look to the geographic dispersion here of that services portion of the revenue specifically?
That's an excellent question. I think sometimes we get a little bit too hung up on the geographic aspect. Like we're always concerned about, how much can you diversify? And I don't know how much I care about that if overall you're making it work, especially with so much uncertainty outside of the US when it comes to Apple. I think the good news is Apple doesn't really have any, like we talk about this sometimes with Tesla, where like they have some issues out in Europe. Like for Apple, I think they're strong everywhere, and your only concerns are going to be China. And then I think you're talking about production on the other end when we're talking about India. So I'm not terribly concerned about it. I just want the overall beat. I feel like we're in a market right now where we're looking at the numbers, and if something doesn't add up, that's a problem. But as long as you're producing, I think you'll be absolutely fine. Still a few minutes to go here for Apple, but I cannot believe Western Digital is going to end up red with SNDK up 15%. That's the one thing I didn't have in my bingo card.
Yeah,
which was, I felt like down for one was down for all in my head, and to see Western Digital, down now 3 points after blasting up. But what's interesting is it went up on sympathy to SanDisk. Despite beating, they're pulling right back in here. So maybe these guys were priced to perfection and not SNDK.
Well, SNDK is pulling back in as well. I mean, this is going to break the 605. Like once it breaks this, then we do have a floor coming through here that looks like it's going to get breached right now. So once that does happen, I think a break of 600 gets us back to 590. That's the kind of stuff that we're talking about. We are now 4 minutes away. Remember, we still have tons of stuff to talk about, man. There's still going to be the conference call coming through for SNDK. So that's something to look out for as we get ready for Apple, Brandon.
There was one more data point just coming across, might be the downtick here, guys, for SanDisk to pay Kioxia $1.165 billion for availability of supply. Again, just coming through for SNDK to pay Kioxia $1.165 billion for availability of supply. Adara, you had a note on Meta there.
Yeah, kind of a bizarre headline on Meta. We do have Bloomberg reporting that apparently the U.S. is investigating claims as to whether or not apparently WhatsApp chats are private. So again, Bloomberg investigating if WhatsApp chats are private. Kind of a bizarre headline, but either way, just want to let you guys know. I also want to let you guys know here, this is on X, the TTV Research just posted it. Here's a look at Apple's earnings by category. So this is for Q4 2025. I have it ready to post the second we get the new earnings, what these are going to be like year over year. But as you can see, iPhone revenue growing year over year, last quarter, services revenue going year over year, last quarter, accessories, iPad and Mac all relatively flat. Now, last quarter, we actually got a slight year-over-year decline in Greater China, but as I mentioned, for fiscal Q1 for Apple, the China earnings tend to have the largest decline. So just something to remember here. That being said, America's revenue grew year-over-year, Europe, Japan, and the rest of the Asian Pacific. So generally pretty good here, but again, iPhone services revenue growth, as well as China, really probably what the Strait's looking for.
We'll see. Downtick, meanwhile, right now for Apple, again, as we noted, volume will get lighter and lighter and lighter the later we get after the close here, guys. So typically, I mean, Apple's not necessarily a huge mover in the moment, but might be more on the day after type thing or during the earnings call. But a couple more minutes to go here. If you're the type of person who has been sitting in this for quite some time, I mean, there's probably not going to be much you see here tonight that really moves the needle.
No, like if you were somebody that was feeling like we were in a bit of a market top and maybe Apple was something that you wanted to be trimming, well, you were doing that like weeks ago when it lost the 50 period. You were probably thinking that when it lost the 270 level. Like I look at that, that's why I like to look at the 50 period moving average. Like if it's a stock that I'm thinking of trimming, well, losing that kind of a major moving average would be a reason to do so. So I feel like some of that money has probably already gotten out of it. And they always say buy it, don't trade it kind of deal. And I feel like for a lot of people, that's what Apple is going to be. Like it's turned into a more of a stable stock. I think, but to the other side of the coin, though, this does end up the kind of name that if for some reason we do have a Microsoft moment, I promise you this, there's probably more people willing to sit out there on day one and buy Apple after if it were to go down 10% than there were Microsoft. Like it's like, give Microsoft a couple of days. If Apple does something that's nonsensical to the downside, I don't think people wait 3 days. I think you just pull the trigger.
I actually have like a sense that Apple's going to go real hard right now, like upside. I like the Gemini aspect here. I think there could be some sort of a guide that's associated with more people getting excited about their platform, getting excited about their iOS with Gemini being implemented into Siri. Plus, Tim Cook's almost gone, man. Let him cook one more time. Let's see what winds up happening here. We're now seconds away, man. We're about 30 seconds away from getting this all figured out. And I don't know. To me, it's an own, don't trade type of situation here on earnings. I don't think you need to be, worried about your position. It was up today in a red market. I don't know exactly what's happening with the screen right now, but here we go. It's Apple time, and we're getting ready for that report just momentarily. Let's go over to Adara. We now have 5 seconds, Brendan and Adara, until this report is dropping. Right now, Apple's going to go at around 258.
All right, we'll keep our eyes peeled here. The initial move, there we go, actually, to the upside right now. So Apple numbers are
I have them.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so I just have to click on the website here. Okay, but this part I can get. So they have quarterly revenue up 16% year over year to $143.8 billion. That's going to be well above estimates. Diluted earnings per share, $2.84, up 19% year over year. Again, apparently services revenue at an all-time record, so no year-over-year decline to worry about there. iPhone revenue at its best ever quarter as well. Apparently, strong margins led to EPS growth of 19%. That's also setting a record here. Apparently, nearly $54 billion in operating cash flow. They returned roughly $32 billion to shareholders during the quarter. I have to click on their website for the full results, but that's a quick summary, guys. Obviously quite strong.
Let's just say that again. iPhone revenue, $85.27 billion, and services, $30.01. Wearables, $11.49 billion. Greater China revenue, $25.5 billion. EPS, $2.84. Dividend, guys, 26 cents.
And let's be real, no one's in Apple for the dividend. What do we get there? 4%? No, 2.5%?
Yeah, I was only up 0.2 there. Before it was at 258, but there it is, man. That's exactly what we talked about. I thought about some, green shoots there, and there goes Apple to the upside. We knew that
We have issues with Sean's mic. Apologies there. But no, Apple 265 we're looking at right now. So yeah, that's about $7, 2.5%. We need to get to that 4.2 that we were expecting. So it's underneath the expected move right now. That's what you need to get to. So do that math just quickly. It's about 258, so it needs to go about $11. So you're looking like 269. I want to say would be the level that you need to get up to after that big of a beat. The numbers are absolutely fantastic. We should be doing more than 3% on this. But hey, it's a couple of minutes after the report. There's still the earnings call to come. You want to see the individual line items as well. Like I want to see what's going on. Like I haven't seen the individual services number. That's going to matter a heck of a lot more. Margins as well. I haven't seen that yet either.
I mean, there it goes. It's now blasting higher right now. Adair, something on China over there?
Yeah, I mean, like I've talked about the year-over-year decline for Greater China revenue here. That's not the case this quarter. Apple posting Q1 Greater China revenue, $25.35 billion estimates here. 21.2 billion. So that is going to be a beat, and it's also going to be well above last quarter. So great look there for AAPL. Looks like that iPhone 17 really saved the day and the quarter.
The only real kind of iffy number it looks like, guys, the services revenue number, pretty much exactly in line with expectations. So not a miss, but basically exactly in line with expectations. Wearable revenue again, 11.49 billion.
Yeah, they missed.
And as Adair was mentioning, Greater China,
25
billion to the upside. So we are coming off the highs a little bit here, but not even a downtick barely, guys, for Apple.
Yeah, I see a miss on MacBook. I see a miss on wearables, but I mean, still.
Those are the things.
Huge, right? But yeah, Greater China, 25 versus 21. That's going to be a big one there as well. So operating cash flow, just 54 billion. EPS growth, new all-time record at 19% EPS growth there for Apple. So we still got to get the call, right? They're going to be talking all about that. That's where I think the Gemini story comes into play there. But for now, we are top ticking at 268 right there for Apple. And they declare the cash dividend 26. They already have a dividend, but they declare it again, 26 cents per share there. I did want to see
more shares in that. That's all you do.
Yeah. I'm happy with it. There it is. We nailed this one as well. SNDK down right there. So I was like, a blind man would short that, but I was saying I would like to do that as well. Up there around that 630, it was about 620. There coming to the downside right there for SanDisk, 597. But it's Apple over here, 265. SanDisk coming down, WDC as well, getting downside. Yeah, at 276. Not a bad move there for them, but it's Apple right now carrying the day at 265, guys.
The 268 number would have been a record, so we're way beyond that, obviously, 284 for EPS. I just double-checked, 5 p.m. for the earnings call for Apple. Coming back in here pretty quick, actually, at the moment. So we'll see what they say on the earnings call, but overall, I mean, as we said, the service is basically in line with expectations.
All the way down.
Else, absolutely monstrous. Maybe some people taking an opportunity to sell some here in the aftermarket.
It just feels like that expected move. It was napkin math to say 269, so I don't know exactly what the 4.2% would be, but it was right around the expected move where it turned around. So if everyone is waiting for a conference call with Apple, then it would make sense that you're not going to exceed the expected move, and then we'll look tomorrow. Obviously, actually I shouldn't say look tomorrow, because you'll be able to, if you're here with Real Trading, or you have access to Blue Ocean, the overnight markets, you can trade the call. So that's what you want to be looking for tonight. Can it hold over that 269 once we actually get Tim Cook on the mic? And maybe they will talk about succession. Who knows? There's a lot of things that people are curious about.
Good reports yesterday that got faded as well.
Exactly.
Right? So I wouldn't be surprised there. I just can't get over this number, 85.3 billion worth of iPhones in one quarter. $85.3 billion worth of iPhones, expected 78.3. That's a 10% beat on iPhone sales, which is absolutely ridiculous. And then also more than almost a 20% beat on their China numbers. So, if this dips, it's just a buying opportunity for me. But again, we're doing the show on big earnings. We want to thank everybody for watching us again here today. I think we covered great numbers there. And I don't know, Adair, anything catching your eye here, maybe outside of China?
That China growth is I think the biggest thing for me. But as you mentioned, Mac, iPad, and accessories revenue all basically flat year over year. So that's kind of dicey. I will say every region, it wasn't just China, every region posting year over year growth. So I will give it that. I'm going to pull this up. so you guys can see it. This is not the updated one. Let me see if my thing has it. I just downloaded it. Here we go. So I'll show it to you guys right now. This has not yet been posted, but just to give you guys a picture of this year-over-year growth. Obviously, services and iPhone revenue growing year-over-year. As Brendan mentioned, services revenue right in line with estimates, but it still was a record.
Yeah,
still a record.
I was just reading that too.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's still great. I think the Americas revenue growth is spectacular. Europe, especially with Greater China, not only is this year-over-year growth, but it reverses a consistent year-over-year decline for Q1 revenue in China. So I am quite impressed by that alone.
The installed base hitting 2.5 billion with a B as well for devices, just absolutely monstrous. Everyone knows and is well aware of what
is the world's population?
The portion of, I know, like basically every other person.
Almost like every other person
has an iPhone. Everyone's well aware of the portion of these major market ETFs, the Qs, the SPY, et cetera, that this stock makes up. I mean, this has to be a good sign for tomorrow and the rest of the week here.
100%, with the only caveat being we want to see how it reacts tomorrow. You want more. You want a Meta moment, not a Microsoft moment, where Meta withstood all the selling in the market today after their gap up to hold for it. That's all you need to see from Apple. That's all that's going to matter. Like if you hold on to, we're up 2.5% today. It's great if you can break that 269. We're up 2.5% today. As long as you end up above 262 even, let's just say, I'd be happy with that. As long as we don't give up the gains. I think a gap underneath and losing 260, that would be a bad signal. To bring us underneath where we were at the end of the day today, after those numbers, which is blowouts across the board, even that services number in line, you're talking 14% growth. So to say it's in line is still pretty spectacular. You don't want to sleep on that. I think that was important, but you don't have to beat everywhere. You can be in line on fantastic or high expectations and be just fine.
I just did some math here with Perplexity helping me out, obviously. To answer your question, Sean, 30.3% of the world's population has an iPhone. Yeah. Just think about that for a second. 30%.
Yeah, I mean, and think about how much of that world's population is third world or whatever that are probably discontinued.
That just means there's more upside.
That's huge upside. Yeah, good point. I mean, maybe they will do a cheaper iPhone again at some point. There was one time they had those SE models.
Yeah.
And that was a little cheaper. I don't know with all those
the thing is
funky colors.
They don't necessarily need to.
Of course not. Yeah.
Like at this point, we know where everything stands. There's Samsung. Android's got everything out there. There's a million different Android phones that you can have. But like it's so solidified between the two platforms. They don't really need to change much of anything. The numbers are proving they don't have to waver from their current path. They didn't have to waver on it when it came to AI spend, and that has worked out. So they don't have a reason to change. Let your competitors make mistakes. If what you're doing is working, then do more of what you do well.
Unbelievable. All right, we will we'll wrap it up with that, guys. 20 minutes, about 20 minutes until the earnings call for Apple and Tim Cook. Although there's a ton of comments coming right through from Tim Cook, so I don't know if he's on a few things, wearables as well. He's talking about, but I don't know if he's on TV somewhere or just a statement release.
CNBC.
There you go. Tim Cook on CNBC right now. The earnings call itself going to come up at 5 p.m. We wish everyone the best if you are going to stick around for that. Thank you, Adara, as always, for your tireless effort. Guys, parting shots here for tomorrow, I guess. I mean, this has to look pretty good for the market.
It does. Don't forget that Decker's had a big beat as well. Like that chart looks actually really good on the daily.
Yeah, I would just say you can sleep well tonight if you're an Apple shareholder. I mean, that's a good number. I don't think you need to worry about anything. Will it be up tomorrow is another thing. The market's we're going to have to wake up, watch what the Nasdaq's going to do. Apple should follow that. I mean, we saw Microsoft sort of its, friend in positioning on the Qs. They had a downside slide today and was able to make it back on some OpenAI news. So yeah, I mean, I'm hearing the same kind of thing here about it. Wearables growth was held back by supply constraints. So, that seems to be something that they talk about. I think the dividend's nice too, 26 cents. I mean, there's a lot of shares out there. So with that kind of a cash pile, give it back to the shareholders, plus the buyback. I mean, I like Apple. I think it's fine. And we'll figure it out tomorrow. We'll probably be long Apple at some point.
Going to be an interesting day. Positive, certainly, for the overall market going into the end of the week. Hope everyone has a fantastic evening. We will see you all 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. Have a great night.
You guys.
Ciao.